What has to be one of the great Thanksgiving weeks for Big Sills. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. You got a great chance to be with family and friends on Thursday, go through the weekend. College football, pro football. We're starting to see the teams that are starting to rise above on which teams are going to be the best teams. We're in that time frame now. There's no doubt you're starting to get a sense of what teams are going to be true contenders for the Super Bowl. As we always start the program out, Big Sills, and the next 4 hours is powered by our friends at BetUS. Big Eagle win. Oh, and by the way, first 15 minutes, please. Most important on spreading the word of the show. We got a record of 147 likes. We'd like to see if we can try to get that record by 15 minutes into the program, 147 likes. Please hit that like button, and all supers go to the top. I will not, from now on, we got a new rule here. When I'm doing my open here, unless it's a super chat, we are not deviating off that until we get through the open here. And I got an interesting take on yesterday's game with the Ravens and the Eagles. Hey, by the way, missed opportunities for the Ravens in that game. And it really came down once again, storyline-wise, to the Eagle defense and the Eagle offensive line. You know, if you look at the game itself, by the way, congratulations to the Eagles, because I do think that's a big win. 24-19. But if you really look at the win here, there's not one place in that game where Baltimore was dominated by them in any way, shape, or form. I thought Lamar Jackson did not play well. I think that had a lot to do with the defense. They were not really off their numbers at all in any way whatsoever. And if you want to say some of those yards at the end of the ball game were junk yards, they still held the Eagles at 250 yards in total offense. It's their second worst output of the year next to the Buck game, where they were held at 226. So at the end of the day, Baltimore, special teams-wise, and Lamar just didn't play well. And I do think that has a lot to do with what Vic Fangio has done with that defense. It's been a remarkable job here. And by the way, we just wrote down, I mean, we were talking about this on the postgame show yesterday. At the end of the day here, the Ravens averaged 426 yards in total offense. Well, the Eagles only held them 50 yards off their total. The Eagles, they averaged 389. Baltimore held them 140 yards under their total. Passing, 247 is what the Ravens offense had. The Eagles were held to 77 yards under their passing. Now they're down at 27th in passing in the league, by the way. They had 170 yards rushing in the ball game. Well, it's 14 yards off their total, so it really wasn't anything they did. Now, again, I get the last series, but once again, they were pretty good on both sides of the football. They were just shitty decision-making going on by Lamar Jackson in that game. And I do think, again, that has to be something that you look at with how Vic Fangio schemed him up. I think Vic had a great day, is what I'm saying here. There's nowhere really in his game yesterday where you went like this. Well, the Eagles blew the Ravens off the field. They didn't. Not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, they got in, stayed to their identity, didn't turn the ball over, and played smarter football. That's exactly how you win championships. This is not a rip. This is kudos. This is how you win it. This is how you win it. Again, the Ravens did a great job defensively. Held them to their second worst total. I mean, Derrick Henry didn't have a bad game. And by the way, if you think that Jordan Davis had a great game, and you think giving up 170 yards in rushing and 5.2 yards clip is a good game, well, you and I have a different observation about how you play good football. I mean, and once again, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's an exceptional player. Okay, I just don't. I think Jalen Carter is absolutely a sensational football player. I think actually, too, Josh Sweat is having a fantastic year. But the star of that team is clearly the coordinator in what he's doing. We're going to get to the takeaways here, but again, the Ravens, they were pretty much on the number on where they were. A little bit here, a little lesser. They had 71 plays everywhere across the board. They dominated the football game except the scoreboard. Again, that's a Raven issue, not an Eagle issue. You can't make poor decisions with your quarterback in big games like that. That's a big game failure by Lamar Jackson. Lamar failed in that game. He was poor. He had a poor game. That's one of the worst. I mean, that game, the Cleveland game, if you watch those games, you go back and you watched it this morning like I did. He did not play well in that game. And I think the decision-making, that was forced on him by Vic Fangio. Yo, Xander, who the blue hell is this impersonator? Where the fuck is Big Sills? All big love in there. Hey, Eduardo, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. By the way, like I said, in the open for the first 15, no one's being read until we get the open out and we get to our takeaways. We're going to get to that here in a second. But the defense and the O-line and Barkley were once again the storyline here. So here's the takeaways. By the way, please hit the like button. There's no question that it's a takeaway game for the Eagles in how you look at them when it comes to winning a significant game. This is probably the best game that they have had in 2 years. That, to me, is the most significant win that you take the most away from. Why? They were simple. They didn't throw the ball. They played clean football. They rallied. They came from behind. It was well coached all across the board. I mean, I thought, if anything, Baltimore panicked. I thought they panicked. The defense, without a doubt, was the story in this ball game against Baltimore. Baltimore moved the ball at will. They had 372 yards in total offense. Like I said, 50-some-odd yards off their normal number. I mean, they moved the ball at will. Wasn't like they stopped them. I thought Lamar, again, made poor decisions. And once again, that had a lot to do with Vic and his defensive pressure that he put on him. Like I said, 372 yards of offense, and they really did a nice job. And by the way, once again, I thought the Raven defense, they held the Eagle offense in check, 250 yards in total offense. Okay? I mean, what's the game come down to? 7 points that were on the board that Tucker missed. Different game if the holds were called. A different game if the field goal kicker makes the field goals too, Abe. They win. They win the ball game. Ravens special teams were atrocious. They were atrocious in the game. The defense dictated a lot of the indecision that Lamar Jackson had in this ball game. Please hit the like button. There's no doubt about it. Story in the ball game: defense, O-line, Saquon Barkley. And if you want to go there, coaching. Coaching did a nice job in this game. Very good win. Again, when we go to the numbers here and we go to what Baltimore did in this game, this comes down to Philadelphia not doing things that are going to get them in trouble to lose ball games. It was a smart game. It wasn't a dominating game. They didn't dominate Baltimore. Where? Where in the world did you dominate Baltimore? In what aspect? Baltimore turned the ball over on poor, bad decisions by the quarterback, all dictated by the Eagle defense. By the way, what I can't stand is already happening. What I'm saying to you right now is, what are you talking about, most of you? Let's go to the numbers. No one's ripping anybody. First downs, Ravens 24-17. Total plays 71-74. Eagles ran 54 plays in this ball game. That is the season low. Total yards, Ravens 372. The Eagles were held to 252 yards in total offense. Passing 112. The passing offense is horrible in Philly. They're 27th now. Do you understand? There's only 5 teams in the league worse than you in throwing the ball. Rushing, you had 140 on 33 carries. The Ravens had 166 on 32 carries, at 5.2 a carry. The Eagles had 4.2 a carry. Time of possession, Ravens had the ball obviously longer because of the plays were so significant on their side of the ball. They had the ball 20 more times than what Philadelphia did. This came down to the defense once again doing a spectacular job on that side of the ball and turning the ball over. Just a great job. Okay? I mean, the Eagle offense was not great. And anybody who thinks the Eagle offense with 250 in total offense was great, you're out of your mind. Ravens dominated the Bills with only 13 completed passes. Hey, dude, I'm not saying anything negative here. I mean, the Ravens held you to 250. They made poor decisions. The quarterback did not play well. Here's to the point even more. Hurts 11-19, 118 yards. Lamar was 23 of 37, 237, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Derrick Henry, 19 carries, 82. Barkley had 23 carries, 107. Both guys 5 yards a carry. I mean, Saquon was and is having an MVP-type year. Hurts ran the ball 9 times for 29. Those were more significant than even his passing numbers, in my opinion, because one of them resulted in a TD. Lamar had 8 carries for 79, and I thought he should have ran more. By the way, so did his mom. AJ, 5 catches, 66 yards. Those are impactful 66. He cannot be covered. Okay? He cannot be covered. By the way, the Ravens defense, they held you down. Your second worst offensive output. You averaged 390 yards in total offense. They held you to 250. Where did you dominate them? I must have missed that. Again, the defense caused the turnovers. Did a great job when they had to. Mark Andrews is some ball player. Boy, that tight end was absolutely sensational. 6 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Boy, he can play, man. I thought Goddard showed up a little bit. 3 catches, 35 yards. He had himself a touchdown, showed some great hands in there. Roquan Smith was great in the game, 11 tackles, had 2 TFLs, had a half a sack himself for the Ravens. And Zach Bond just continues to play amazing football. 13 tackles, half a sack. Jalen Carter held every single play in the middle. So again, my takeaway, even with the numbers and what we saw, they did exactly what they were coached to do. They went in, ran the ball, didn't make mistakes. And that's championship football, man. That's old school Dallas Cowboys, Emmitt Smith, Super Bowl winning type formula right there. It is. Again, the other team was forced into mistakes, and they did make a ton of them. The Ravens did not play well in that game. That's not an Eagle issue. That's the Eagles forcing the issue. Okay? That's them forcing it. Did you see Josh Allen? They're winning it this year. Oh, we'll get to him. I know he was sensational last night. In the 10 feet of snow last night, he was sensational. Vaughn is a first-team All-Pro right now. I don't know if he'll get the votes, but he'll make one of the All-Pro teams. For sure, he'll make he'll make first or second or third team All-Pro. I doubt first team because that's not how it works. But who knows, man? They may change the formula here. Okay? So again, what have I said negative? I see some of you in here crying. What if we said negative? You went in, you took care of business. You forced the team into making mistakes. You don't really have to play A-plus football. And you got out of there with a significant win. And get this, you did it all by not dominating them. In theory, they dominated you. But you forced them into mistakes. There's nowhere in the game where it shows that you did dominate them. Where? Where in the game did you see this? Except in this. Situational turnovers, sacks, bad passes, good defensive secondary play, pressure, all played a factor in this game. Hey, guys, I'm not going to tell you something that everyone else is telling you. This is how you played that ball game. You played a smart game, and you put an MVP candidate on the ropes last night where he was making critical mistakes. That's what happened. Okay? That's what happened. They should have fed Henry more. Lamar should have ran more. Hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda. All dictated by Vic Fangio. All dictated by what he did. By the way, please give me a total on the likes right now. We're 16 minutes in. We'll start reading some of your stuff here in a second. It's a great win. And I'll say it one more time for some of you hard-headed people. It's the most significant win you've had in 2 years. Can you give your updated defensive rookie list? That's tomorrow, my friend. We'll do that. Allen is amazing, but it doesn't win Super Bowls. It's all or nothing because they're a quarterback with less talent. Hey, Allen is amazing, but if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, it's all for nothing because they are quarterbacks with lesser talent. Win, so hold his feet to the fire too, Sills. Yes, Ace, absolutely. By the way, Allen has just won his 5th straight AFC championship and or 5th straight AFC East title, which puts him in a position now where those guys can play for home field advantage. They've got the tiebreaker over Kansas City, so that's yet to still play itself out. But Josh is having a hell of a season. One guy right now for the most valuable player award. Xander, I missed some super chats here. Want to make sure we get all the supers in. I appreciate you guys here, especially on this Football Monday here. We broke the like record, Sills. We did? Fantastic. That means we're past 147 in the first 5. That's great. Fantastic, guys. Our D-line for sure dominated their O-line. How can you say that? Where? They had 5 yards of carry. Nick, 5 yards of carry is dominating? I don't know what you think dominating is. So every time the Ravens ran the ball, they had 5 yards a clip. That's dominating? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not dominating. That's getting knocked on your ass. Every time the offensive guys for the Ravens ran the ball, they ran it at 5 yards of play. That's exactly what happened. Seals, you need to stop with all the effort. It's not stats. That's what happened in the ball game. By the way, if you want to say some of those calories at the end of the game, okay, well, they held you in check. I feel bad for C-Mac. He's out for the season. True. That's the Jew. What's Vic's address? We all need to send him a gift. Absolutely, man. He has had the Coach of the Year job, boy. I'll tell you, man, that is absolutely one whale of a job. That defense is real. I am there. That defense is real. Hey, look at this. Look at Slagger. Slagger, where do you think that you had the advantage in that game over Baltimore? Where? Where in the world do you think you had the advantage? If the Eagles had 70 plays, well, you should have had more plays. Your defense, the Ravens defense held you to 54. That's called getting shut down. That's called getting shut down by the Ravens defense. And the offense stalling. And that first quarter that you can't get out of your own way. Where in the world do you think, and when some people in here are saying dominated physically, where? I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think there were 2 physical football teams out there. I can't get enough of seeing that tackle by Coop. I'm going to make this point to you guys, and I know this is going to come off to some of you not great, but I think Cooper DeJean has had a bigger impact on the Philadelphia Eagle defense than what Quinyon Mitchell has. I know they're completely different positions, but there just seems to be a different energy with him out there. And the hits that he makes, the team gets jacked up by him. I think he's made a bigger impact than Quinyon Mitchell. And Quinyon Mitchell, it's not a rip. He's a heck of a ball player. But I think this kid, Cooper DeJean, I think he's made a massive impact on that team. And he has definitely brought an energy and a sauce to that side of the football. Okay? And again, am I saying this? Well, Q's not. No, I'm not there at all saying that. I am not at all saying that. Okay? I'm not. I just like that energy that player gives. And he is everywhere. He's almost like a old school rover back. When, he's part linebacker, part safety. Guys, please hit the like button. Seals, we dominated the Ravens in the third quarter. They had 9 yards. Sounds like domination. What do you say? I thought they did take care of the third quarter very well. Yes. Keith. Yes. I think Keith, if you're saying that I think that the Ravens dominated Philly. No, I think it was a dominated game by both sides of the ball. I just think that the defensive coaches for Philadelphia forced Lamar Jackson into poor decisions. Dude, this is better than this. It was a tough game. Okay? It's a tough game. Ravens got 70 yards in a TD in garbage time, and they held you to 250 yards, your second worst offensive output the entire game. Only the Buck game was worse. Nick, you want to go there? All right. They shut you down. You averaged almost 400 yards in offense. They held you to 250. Do you think the Ravens had a good day against your defense or against your offense? Do you think they had a good day? I mean, okay? You're missing my point here. Boys, some of you just don't want to listen. I'm going to do it one fucking last time for you ignorant imbeciles. It's the best win in 2 years. It's a significant win. Your defense forced Baltimore into poor decision-making. You get a great win. You didn't dominate. You did what you were supposed to. You never done. They shut you down. You took care of the football by not allowing them in the red zone. Here's where you won the game. They averaged 30 points a game. That's where right there, Vic Fangio with the bend but don't break, don't give up the big play. That's what won it. Poor decision-making by Lamar and awful special teams. If they convert on their special teams, they beat you. Handily, actually. I mean, but ifs, ands, and buts don't count in football. They took care of business. Fantastic. It's a great win. Okay? It's a great win. What's starting to happen here, by the way, we'll get to our game balls here in a minute. What's starting to happen is you're starting to see one style of football take out varieties of styles. That's what's happening here. The Eagles are not changing what they're doing. Okay? They're not changing. They're not throwing the ball more. They're throwing the ball even less. Hurts has done an okay job. He's made plays. Not a ton of them. And by the way, Nick, stop fucking trying to lie and oversell something. The guy's so far removed from an MVP candidate, it's night and day when you're talking about some of the performances that are going on this year. The most important thing that Hurts has done is get out of Saquon Barkley's way. That's not a rip. Troy Aikman had to get out of Emmitt Smith's way. That's not a rip. If one thing leads you to a Super Bowl, egos have to be put at the front door. And that's what's happened. By the way, I think there's a lot of love, but for Nick to go out of his way and over the top to oversell something that's not true. There's only 5 teams in the league with a worse passing game than the Eagles. I mean, only 5 teams. He's down with where Carolina is in the passing game. But right now, you don't need the passing game to win ball games. Okay. And I disagree with a lot of people. Xander, I think John's on the page with me. You're going to run into somebody during the playoffs that you're going to have a passing game, and you don't have one. And you haven't had one all year. So, again, that's irrelevant to winning against the Ravens here. You didn't need a passing game. You absolutely didn't need one. And the defense continues to be the storyline. Okay? So why don't you criticize other teams like you do with the Eagles? Because I don't think a lot of other teams are close to winning a Super Bowl. And my show is based in Philly. This is why. Hey, wait, so you want me to make you feel better? So like if Josh Allen, here's a stat for you. If you want to go down that line, all right. Josh Allen last 4 years is 45-17. Got to win a Super Bowl. Nobody's won more games. 119 yards versus 32nd pass defense stinks. Josh Allen. Again, right now, I mean, they don't need a passing game. Sills, I agree on DeJean. He is extremely versatile and makes a huge impact. However, Q has blanketed the opposing WR1s and has virtually eliminated the targets. This makes Mitchell more feared. I say more important. And I said, I just think he's more important. But you talk about impact on the game and setting a tone. It just seems like, can I make a Bob? Would you be okay with me making this comment here? Once again, I think Cooper DeJean kind of reminds me a little bit of John Lynch. Okay? John Lynch was tone setter with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. That was one of the best defenses. Okay? One of the best defenses. So if I'm going to make a comparison on Cooper DeJean, I think it's more like John Lynch. Something like that. That would put him in that. Guys, please hit the like button. It would be something like John Lynch or like a Cam Chancellor kind of guy. Once again, I'm not going to have a fucking debate about fucking Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. There's no A.J. Brown and there's no Saquon Barkley in Buffalo. He's doing it by himself. Every single one of you idiots in here were telling me that Josh Allen would be exposed this year because Stephon Diggs is not there. He's actually better this year, and I told you he'd be better. Eagles dominated the second and fourth quarter. Ravens dominated first and third. Punter, MVP. My God almighty. Thrill. Great takeaway. How many times did the Eagles special teams pin the Ravens down inside the 5? What was so important in having to make them go the long distance of the field? Absolutely a critical part of that game yesterday was how good the Eagles special teams were sensational yesterday. Field goals made, pinning the Ravens down inside the 5. It was totally the defense and special teams that won that ball game. There is no question about that. Absolutely. There must have been 5 times that the special teams were held when it came to punting the ball down inside the 5. Xander, I think I missed a super chat. Thrill, that's a great takeaway. I think it's a blue one, Xander. Guys, please do me a favor and hit the like button. We appreciate it. Josh Allen versus, I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, because apparently Sills thinks the offense is worse without Smitty. I think Smitty is absolutely a non-factor anymore in that offense. I mean, you're winning ball games. I didn't even know he was out there. I didn't even know he wasn't out there for second game of 8 quarters now. Didn't matter. Eagles versus Bills Super Bowl. So you're counting the Chiefs out, huh, Khalid? Guys, please hit the like button. I think the Bills still have to show me in the postseason. I'm not sold on them. Postseason-wise. They still have to show me they can beat the guy in Kansas City. Okay? They do. Seals, do you think about trading Smitty to pay the defense and get picks? Absolutely not. Dude, the contract that Devontae Smith has is absolutely sensational. It is a non-binder. He gave you a hometown discount. I have no intention. As a matter of fact, if I had to say anything about Devontae Smith, I would want Devontae Smith to retire an Eagle. There's absolutely no way would I do that. No way. Winning against good teams, being 10-2 and still getting better is a good position to be in. If they actually called the holding, there's no question, Sam. You could have called holding on Jalen Carter every single play. It's looking like another 22 rematch, potentially. Sills in his Hummer in San Juan Capistrano over the weekend. Dude is cool driving around Dana Point. I wasn't around Dana Point. I never leave my house. I don't really give a damn if we run 100% of the time. Barkley, Hurts, Gainwell, brotherly shove, unstoppable, once rolling. So far, can't deny that. Dan, all the national media said Jordan Davis played good. How many snaps did he have in the ball game? How many snaps? They had 5 yards of carry. I'm trying to figure this out. If Devin stays, Smitty stays. Ravens fumbled a lot. We could have had more points. No, they could have had more points if they. You want to go down that route? They could have had more points if they converted the 7 points. Quinion had a big hit on a tight end early in the game. I do believe it set the tone for our secondary. I don't believe he sets the tone for the secondary. Okay. So of the 71 snaps that Baltimore had, Jordan Davis played 23 snaps, and he played a great game. Okay. You and I look at it different. How many, hey, by the way, NS Wells, do me a favor. How many snaps did Jalen Carter play? Can you tell me? Fans have to stop giving Jalen Hurts a pass. The guy's awful. So now we have 8 offensive alignment blocking because Hurts can't throw the ball. NS, how many snaps did Jalen Carter play? Tell me how many snaps he played in that ball game. Okay. So he played 77 snaps out of 78. And Jordan Davis played 23. How do you come to that conclusion he played great? Where in the world do you, out of 78 total snaps, you say he had a great game playing 23? We have a different way of looking at shit. Okay? 71 to 72 snaps he played. And Davis played 23. Are you fucking high? I don't know. Maybe I was watching another game. The game was 24-12 until a garbage. Anthony, that's not what I'm saying. Anthony, I'm not saying a different game. I watched the Ravens go up and down the field, and I watched the Ravens shut down the Eagle defense, and I saw an Eagle defense that was so good it made Lamar Jackson play poor. What did you see? What did you see? Maybe, hey, tell me what you see, Anthony. Xander, I think I missed another super. Guys, all supers, I swear to you, go to the top. What do you think the RPO? I thought the RPO was awesome in the game against the Ravens. I saw it at least 4 times, and it was great. Hurts ran that thing great, that RPO. Henry had 5 yards of carry. Where was the run stuff for Day? That's what I don't know, Flexen. Guy played great. And Henry had 5 yards a carry. Or the Ravens had 5 yards a carry. I'm missing it. The Ravens as a team had flexing. The Ravens had 5 yards a carry as a team. 5-1, actually. Sills, how was Josh Allen the MVP runner with such elite talent? What talent? That's elite talent? Quentin Morris, Ray Davis, Mac Hollins. That's right. Samuel, who are those guys? I've never heard of fucking any of those guys. Sills, Davis had a couple of impact plays yesterday. He stood out at times. Okay. He stood out a couple times out of the 23 plays he played. Okay. Well, shit. He's a first rounder. I'm hoping. Sills, Milton Williams, Ajamu deserve more credit. These boys are legit. They are. They're playing really good. Okay? They're playing really good. I thought Henry was going to go for 125 at least. Eagles did a good job on him. They sure did. They absolutely sure did. Misleading stat, they got that run by Lamar with no time left. Charlie, what about them shutting down the Eagle offense then? You think 250 yards in total offense, 170 yards off your total? Quarterback was under his, and so was Barkley under his. I mean, you really think they played great offensively? Hey, defensively, they were sensational. Okay? Sensational. Here, let's do this. Let's show you just how good the Ravens defense played. Okay? Just a point here. Just the point here. Let's see here. We'll get to game balls here in a minute. All supers go to the top. Hang on. So the Rams. Eagles had 481. Washington. Eagles had 450. Dallas. Eagles had 375. Jacksonville. Eagles had 457. I'm not going to keep going back. Only to the Buck game. Ravens held you to 250. They did a great job. Okay? Again, the story is the defense, the O-line, and Barkley. And if you want to go here, Hurts out thinking Lamar. How many times did Lamar Jackson throw into triple coverage? Shit, man. It was even sometimes quadruple coverage. I thought he played shitty. I just totally thought he was all over the place. So most of those yards were away from Davis. When they did run at, dude, he had 23 reps out of 78 reps. How in the world do you get an assessment out of that playing 20 reps? Are you fucking nuts? Jalen Carter plays every snap but one. Almost all 78. And you're telling me you're taking away from a guy with 20 reps. He played great. Nobody in a room would ever think that played in the NFL. That guy with limited snaps. Hey, he played good, Sills. He had a couple good games. 5 yards a carry the Ravens had. All right. I mean, what do you want me to say here? By the way, again, this is not an opinion. He played 20 reps. He played 20 plays. Jesus Christ. The other guy on the other side plays 4 times as many plays. I mean, God, that's how you get it. Hey, the guy on the other side's playing 3 to 4 times more plays a game. I mean, what are you talking about? Hey, go ahead. Hey, he played great for 20 plays. Okay. Fantastic. Jesus Christ, you guys want to give kudos to things. You know, you give kudos to, you give it to that guy Carter and that guy Bond. Those guys are playing lights out football. Okay? Absolutely. So as I thought Harbaugh got going for it on 4th down, it was a stupid move. Dude, the Eagles forced all this stuff on them. They really did. They did a great job. Sills, love hearing your 99 Brown stories from time to time. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Who are your top 3 teams in the NFL as of now? You know, I usually do this. And by the way, Xander, let me read that other super, that 499 one that was just sent. Dave, thank you very much. By the way, please, guys, all supers go to the top. If the Eagles and Bills are in the Super Bowl, that would be insane tailgate. Oh, my God. Bills Mafia and the Eagle Nation would be absolutely insane. Yeah, I got Dave. Thank you very much, Dave. Top 3 teams in the NFL. Hey, when will you learn, old man? There's a way to win. The Eagles will exploit it. IQ and passing stats are not. They're not stats. They're trends. Kind of. Thank you, Emrez. Okay, kind of. I mean, hey, I thought Kellen Moore was brought in to improve your passing game. It's gotten worse. Top 3 teams. I think there's 4. I'm going to get the game balls out here in a minute. I think there's 4. Here are my top. Detroit, Buffalo, Philly, Kansas City. And here, let me do that again. Because I do think you have the advantage on defense. Why they refuse to call holding on Carter. Dude, I thought he was held every play. Your take on not having BG out there, how'd they do? I'll answer that, Abe, here in a second, okay? Let me do this again. Okay, I'm gonna redo that. I got Bills 1, Eagles 2, Detroit 3, Kansas City 4. The reason I think the Eagles are better right now is because the Lions have sustained too many significant injuries on defense. And I think both those offenses are kind of pushes. But the defense is definitely what's pushed the Eagles ahead of Detroit. They had a better week. I'm talking Philly. They had a better week. Plus, Detroit's got a big game coming up against Green Bay on Thursday night. Okay. It's not like we gave him some huge extension. His fifth-year option coming up will be $22 million. Are you paying him that, play 20 plays? How come Sileo doesn't make fun of Cooper DeJean for playing in the slot? Why would I do that? Makes them playing in the slot? I have no idea what you're talking about, dummy. Detroit should have lost to the Bears. That's why that coach got fired. Eagles have had injuries on offense. Devontae and AJ have both missed multiple games. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. What do you want? That's why the war of attrition in your roster and why your general manager has your roster built for a certain way so that you can sustain injuries like that. Welcome to the NFL. You're going to cry about referees and injuries. You're crying in the wrong place. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Okay? By the way, give me a like total, please. And supers go to the top. I can't thank you guys enough. Look, I know that some of you can't hear me. It's the best win. Watch this. I'm going to write this down for you. It's the best win in 2 years. Your defense is an incredible story. Your O-line's the best in football. Your running back is having a historic year. Okay? They forced Baltimore into shitty decisions. They didn't beat Baltimore up. Both teams are physical in that game. Thank you guys on the likes. It means a lot to me. We're not even at the end of the first hour. We already have almost 300 likes. You guys are tremendous. I would let Davis walk and draft young talent. There's no reason. You don't know what he's going to do yet. You have no idea what he is going to do. So did you hear what I said? Okay, did you hear what I said? It's the most significant win in a year and a half. Your defense is the story. Okay? You did a great job of coaching this game. Not sure what else you want fucking from me. I don't know what else you want. I mean, Baltimore moved the ball and held you to a significant low this past game. Held you to 250. You weren't throwing the ball around the yard, and you weren't running it all over people. It's not what happened. You know, again, you can bring up the fact that they had 70 plays. They had 70 plays because they were sustaining drives. The field position that the punter and the Eagles special teams, they had a fabulous day. That's exactly what went on in that game. If you don't see it, you watched a different ball game. Stills talks all this shit on Friday before the game every week about how teams will do this and that against us. They did. They ran the ball well. They threw the ball horribly in the ball game. I mean, what am I missing here? What am I missing? Where were you dominant against the Ravens? Where? Where were you? Where did you have the advantage? Quarterback? No. Well, probably because of decisions. Xander, I missed the super. Dude, the defense was the thing. Dean, get to him. The defense is the story. Yes. 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 Here, you want to laugh? Look at this. Nick Sirianni joins Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, and Tony Dungy with 3 consecutive years of 10-2 or better. Okay. All those guys are Super Bowl champs. So let's see what Nick does. It'd be great. Let's see if he wins one. Okay? Because, quite frankly, Josh Allen's in the same boat right now as Jalen Hurts is when it comes to all the wins. 700 win percentage. This guy's won games. He's got to win a Super Bowl. He totally does. And by the way, whatever. I think they win in spite of that guy. Here's my game balls. By the way, I think the coordinators had a great day. An absolutely great day, I think they had. All right. So I'm going to go from 10 up. And I will tell you from 10 up my game balls. Okay? Here are my game balls. We were dominant in the scoreboard, no silver medal. Okay? Yeah. Defense did a great job. Absolutely dominant. Hey, right. Yes. Dominant in the scoreboard. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Just going to start off with Ravens defense game ball. You know, Senor, I think you need a timeout. For me, let's see here. I'm going to go from 10 up. Okay? I think I'm going to go from 10 up. All right? All right. Number 10. I think Isaiah Rodgers had a great game. I really do. Stepping in for Darius Slay, I thought he had an absolutely fabulous ball game. He gets game ball number 10. I think he played exceptionally well, and he made tackles. He did some good stuff out there, man. Number 9, I got Kobe Dean. Continue to improve. Got nicked up a little bit in the ball game. I was a little concerned after that. Went right back in, started making plays again. Fantastic. Great stuff. Nakobe Dean is improving each and every single week. He's no longer a liability. He's starting to get reps, and he's starting to play fast. There's no doubt Vic Fangio has had a massive impact on his career. Number 8, you know, Nolan Smith, he showed up. He was not a liability out there. He played really well. No liability. I think he really did play well, and he's continuing to improve. I thought he set the edge all right. Number 7, game balls, Big Sills. The entire Eagle offensive line. All 5. By the way, who's more of a priority? Micaiah Becton or Zach Bond? Who's more of a priority if you're going to sign at the end of the year? Who would be more of a priority? Bond? Really? Bond. Sirianni outcoached Harbaugh. Sirianni never outcoached anybody. You mean Kellen and Vic. And Michael Clay. Not Nick. Nick doesn't have a job. Even if Hurts wins a Super Bowl, Sills will always hate. I don't know Jalen Hurts from a can of paint. I don't hate anybody. Keep both, Flexen says. So, Flexen, you're going to pay $15 million for Micaiah Becton, and you're going to pay another $15 million for Bond? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to pay $30 million. Are you letting Sweat walk then? Because they're not going to spend that kind of money on that side of the ball. Remember, there's a salary cap. And all your money's on one side of the ball. Flexen, where are you getting this money from, guy? You're already squeezed to the cap next year. That $20 million doesn't roll over. You got expiring back-ended contracts that are due. The Eagles have the most money due of any football team. It's over $300 million next year alone. Howie's going to have to restructure a ton of deals. Okay? Slay's coming off the books. Okay. Bradbury as well. There's $25 million. All right. That's good. That's how you look at it. It's a good place to start erasing money. What are you going to do with Josh Sweat? You got to offer him a contract. You going to let him walk out the building? Are the Eagles short 29? His knees are shot? Or does this guy have a year where he has 14 sacks this year? You going to let him walk out the building? Like you did Hassan Reddick? Bond or Sweat? They're going to cost you money. Then you got the 50-year extension on Davis. What are you doing there? Slay, you're replacing? Okay. I don't have a problem with that. Guy's been in and out of the lineup all year long. He's not horrible. You probably could get something for him if you move him. Right? You feel comfortable. I mean, remember, you still got Sidney Brown. What are you going to do there at the slot? Are you going to move Cooper DeJean over to safety? Or are you going to move him over to corner? I don't think much of Kelee Ringo. I think he's okay. I think he's a good backup. Kelee Ringo's okay. I haven't seen anything that makes me go, he's really good. I watched DeJean play and I watched Q play. Nowhere in that room. I even watched Sidney Brown play. Nowhere in that room. Okay? Ringo's good? Yeah, but he's not good enough. Okay? I think he's a special teams guy and a quality player that you can have on your team. Do I think he's a starter? No, I do not. Now, could he improve with Vic? Maybe. Vic's working his magic on a lot. But I watched Ringo play yesterday, over pursuing. I didn't think he really wrapped up well. I thought he was okay. I don't really see anything. Maybe it's more reps. Getting him more reps would be probably the most important thing, but they should have did that in the preseason. I don't see it yet. Maybe, he gets better. I just don't see it. Now, maybe more playing time would help that. Okay? Jalen Hurts needs to continue to improve completion percentage and not throw more. We need to implement the screen into the flats that Baltimore used yesterday, throwing 20 to 25 times per game. Jalen Hurts needs to complete over 70%. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're asking him to make limited passes. Those deep throws, in my opinion, that's what gets the Eagles in trouble. They don't need a deep throw when you got an offensive line and a running game that can run you off the field. They run you off the field, man. I mean, their offensive line runs you off the field. And I'll tell you this, if I were Howie Roseman, whatever happens to Saquon Barkley in the future, my number one priority is I want to have the best running back I can find from now on with the investments that I make in the O-line. I don't want Miles Sanders and I don't want DeAndre Swifts anymore. I want to have premier guys like Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. I want those dudes to run behind that O-line because to me, the last 2 years, you had lesser players running the football. Myles Garrett, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's a good player. Is he that player where he had 1,200? No, he's not that player. Do I think DeAndre Swift will ever get 1,200 yards again? I doubt it. I doubt it. Somebody like Bijan Robinson would be exceptional down the line to have in that Philly team. He's a great-looking player. Okay? He's a great-looking ball player. He is. He's a great-looking player. But from now on, I want a premier running back in Philly. If I'm going to spend that kind of O-line money, we're all across the board, that offensive line, man, it is one of the most expensive O-lines in all of football. 2 tackles making over $25 million. You got a guard making over $20 million. You're going to be paying another guard $15 million. You got a center who's on a second-year deal in his rookie contract. You got a lot of equity in that O-line. 2s and 3s and a ton of money. You better have the premier back instead of just the dude. The Eagles have had just the dude back there. To all future running backs coming into the draft for years, thank this year's running backs for making the NFL remember how valuable that position is. There's no doubt. Minnesota, Aaron Jones. Green Bay, Josh Jacobs. The two-headed monster in Detroit. What you got in Baltimore, what you have in Philly. There's no doubt about it. And look what you're seeing in San Francisco. They lose McCaffrey. San Francisco's not anywhere near the team that they were the last 3 years. They're not even remotely close to being that football team. So let me finish. I got Isaiah. This is my game balls. I got Isaiah Rodgers at 10. I got Nakobe Dean at 9. I got Nolan Smith at 8. I got the entire O-line, all 5 guys. At 7, Big Sills game balls. Number 6, I have Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's playing great. He is absolutely playing great football. I mean, for all the things that people were trying to do in the offseason here, and trying to get rid of his ass. I mean, look at his numbers and what he's dealing with right now. Just in this ball game alone. Sweat had 8 tackles, had a sack. And right now, he's projected to get 53 tackles, 10.5 sacks. A double-digit sack guy. That's impressive. That's great. That's getting it done. Okay? Sweat's having an amazing season right now. He's a really good player. High energy and physical. Number 5, Cooper DeJean. Yeah. I think he's made a massive impact on your football team and on defense. Dude, this kid's got an energy about him. I didn't think he was this good at Iowa. I thought he was a good player at Iowa. I put him on a couple All-American teams, and I kind of watched him a few times. I didn't see him a boatload of times. You know, as I told you, I vote on all the awards and shit, and I kind of heard by mouth. I watched an Iowa State game. I thought he was good in that. I think I watched an Iowa-Ohio State game, and I thought he was really good in that game. So I thought he had some potential. I didn't know if he was going to play on the numbers or if he would play in the slot or at the safety position. But he's definitely shown more as a pro so far. He looks better than he did in Iowa. Okay? He looks better. Because, again, his game tape didn't preclude him to be a first-rounder. There were games where he got lost in college. Okay? There were games he got lost. That's why he didn't go in the first round. You know? And so you watch him now. If I were to redraft him, I would say this. Where would you take Cooper DeJean? And where would you take Quinyon Mitchell? If I had to redraft those two guys again, I would take Cooper DeJean because he's a safety. Safeties don't get drafted high. 15. How about this? Guys, do me a favor. Where was Keith Hamilton? Where was he drafted from Notre Dame by Baltimore? Where was he drafted? When he came out of Notre Dame and he went to the Baltimore Ravens, because he's a safety, that would give me a little bit more of a barometer on where he was taken 14th. Kyle, 14th. That's that 14, 15. I was right. 14, 15. That's kind of where I would take him. Is somewhere in there. Okay. Now, Quinyon Mitchell. Where would I take him? Corner. He's had a great year. Hey, Kyle, where was Patrick Surtain drafted when he got to Denver? Where was he picked? Again, Toledo is going to play a factor in a draft, but after hindsight, CJ goes, he was drafted 9th. 9th? Is that right, Kyle? Is Q a 9th pick? Nine, 10? Sure. 9, 10. So why I'm saying this to you? Okay? You underdrafted for good players here. What's his name was taken like what, 21? Quinyon Mitchell. And Cooper was taken in the second round. You basically have two players that should be in the top 15 picks. That is how you draft. That's how you steal picks. That's big. Okay? Those guys are playing like top 15 picks right now. If you're Howie, you're doing this. Hey, man. Okay. You thought they were good, but not this good. I mean, you're blowing away your draft position right now. By the way, Jalen Carter, the 9th pick in the draft. What draft was he in? 23? Was Carter in the 23 draft? '23 draft. Where would I take him now? You see, Jesus criminy. Stroud, Young, Anderson, Richardson, Witherspoon, Paris, Tyree Wilson, Bijan. If I had to redraft Jalen Carter right now, I would take Stroud 1, between Robinson and Carter 2. Between Carter and Robinson. Dude, you improved your play and your value here. He's the 9th pick in the draft. And Tyree Wilson is an okay player. Paris Johnson's good, but not that like that. Devin Witherspoon, Seattle's good. Anthony Richardson, I don't know. Will's good. Was the defensive rookie of the year a year ago. He'd probably be taken after Carter. So the last 2 big draft picks, Jalen Carter should be the 3rd player taken or the 2nd player taken, whatever your appetite is. Q is a 10th pick, 9th pick. And DeJean's probably 14 or 15. That's why your defense is improving. Okay? I mean, that's getting it right. So he was projected 1, but remember, outside factors played in the draft. I forgot what the outside factors were. Sills losing Becton hurts, but O-line in better position to handle the loss with Steen and Keegan. Yeah, but dude, Steen and Keegan are good. Bob, I think they're good. But do I think they're better than Becton? Becton's going to make a Pro Bowl. I don't know if he's going to make the All-Pro team, but he's going to get consideration for it. He's knocking guys out in there. He's so freaking enormous, too. I mean, Mekhi Becton, when he gets rolling out of his stance like that, Barkley hides up behind him. They can't find him. They don't touch him for 5 yards. By the time he gets into the hole, dude, he's better than Isaac Seumalo. He's better than Isaac Seumalo. He's the best right guard you've had since I've covered you. By the way, I think Cam Jurgens has been an upgrade to Jason Kelce. I think he's been an upgrade. He's getting on second level. He's doing a great job in blocking and combo blocks in the middle. I think he's done a great job, man. He's healthier. He's younger. I mean, I think they got an injection at the center position. And that left tackle, left guard that you have there, I told you, it reminds me of Art Shell and Gene Upshaw. I mean, you could have those guys out there on the left side for the next decade. Those 2 guys. I mean, Landon Dickerson and Mulata could play the next 10 years out there. That's how good that and like you said, Bob, that's in what good shape you're in right now. It's pretty amazing. It really is. So my game balls. Isaiah Rodgers, 10, gets game ball 10. N'Kobe, game ball 9. Nolan Smith, game ball 8. 7, the entire Eagle O-line. Number 6, Josh Sweat. Number 5, Cooper DeJean. Number 4, Zach Bond is playing such great football. And I made an effort to watch Roquan Smith play. He's exceptional. And he's been doing it obviously longer. But boy, I'll tell you, Zach in open space, holy shit. New Orleans had this guy and didn't. You know what? Think about this. Zach Bond and Barkley were so undervalued in New York and New Orleans to the point of AJ being undervalued in Tennessee. Howie, the last couple of years with that kind of stuff, that's really great. Okay? That's really great. It's really great. Zach Bond is all over the field. He's a leader. He's playing super. Number 3, I got Jalen Carter. Do I think he's the all-pro D tackle? Dexter Lawrence is sensational. Do I think he's given himself a position to be the first team all-pro? You know what comes with first team all-pro? When you make that and you make first team all-pro, it's like a $500,000 bonus. I mean, making the Pro Bowl is a great honor. Making the all-pro team is a whole different world because you're the best of the best in both conferences. Number 2, you know, A.J. Brown didn't have a gigantic game, but he did. He's just, you cannot get him on the ground. I mean, anytime my daughter was watching the game with me, and she's like, Dad, they just throw the ball to the guy with the pink shoes, and he never misses. And he goes, and they can't defend him. I go, I know. He catches football at will against the Ravens, I thought. I think you could have threw the ball any amount of times to him, and he would have caught it. I didn't think the Ravens had an answer for him. Okay, I mean, he's really a good-looking player. And I got Barkley, number 1. Saquon Barkley has made the biggest impact at running back I have ever seen a running back in my lifetime make on a team. I'm trying to think. Jerome Bettis, when he went from the Rams to the Steelers, made a huge impact. I'm trying to think of another running back that has made that big of an impact on an NFL team, going from one team to another and changing and transforming them into being a running team. That's a great one, MG. Marshall Faulk going from the Colts to the Rams changed the Rams. You know what, guys? That's probably, and by the way, McCaffrey to the Niners. This just looks different. This just looks different because it's dominating. Yeah, but when Dickerson went to the Colts, Riggins from the Jets to the Skins was awful impressive. Nice, Steve. That's right. When Riggins went from the Jets to the Washington Redskins, that transformed the Pigs and the Hogs into being a dominant O-line once they got him in the building. It's a great take. But Barkley, he's right up there with all these guys. I've never seen anything like it, really. I mean, Marshall Faulk to the Rams from the Colts is a big one. Because that would end up in a Super Bowl. Well, Marshawn Lynch to who? The Raiders? I don't think he transformed the Raiders. You know, I'm talking about a guy leaving a place and going to a new place and then turning that franchise around like Bettis did with the Steelers. Okay? Because you know why? He did not show any of this in New York. He did not show any of this. Lynch from Buffalo to Seattle. Buffalo to Seattle. You guys are right. Not the one to the Raiders, okay? Well, look at what we're talking about here. Marshawn Lynch, John Riggins, Jerome Bettis. Dickerson, to some extent, didn't really transform the Colts. And Ricky Waters is not the player that those guys are that I'm mentioning, including Barkley. Okay? I mean, this might be the greatest free agent signing Howie Roseman has ever had. Hey, guys, I was going to kind of save this one, but let's do it before we get Xander on. You think Barkley's a bigger sign than T.O. was? Both had impacts on the quarterback. Now, Owens led your team to a Super Bowl. Guys, hit the like button. Give me a running total where we are on the like button. Owens, that thing ended in a Super Bowl. Okay? And Terrell Owens was spectacular that year. He really was. He was spectacular. I'm trying to think. 350? Thank you, guys. 350? I'd like to see if we can get to 500 by the top of the hour. I think Barkley's got to be. And hey, T.O. was sensational that year. The 04 season, he was sensational. And recency bias, you're right. And we know the story with Owens. Okay, we know the story with Owens, what happened. I mean, he was great in the Super Bowl. He was great that whole year. The team won the NFC. Is this going to be the same thing? See, I think Barkley's legacy is yet to be written. If he has a great year and they don't take it to at least the Super Bowl or at least to an NFC Championship game, it's not going to be in that conversation. Owens would still have made a bigger impact because Owens helped get a team to a Super Bowl. So it's still yet to be determined, in my opinion. Yeah, I got Barkley number one. So here's my game balls. Isaiah Rodgers at 10. Nakobe Dean at 9. Nolan Smith at 8. The entire Eagle O-line at 7. Josh Sweat at 6. Cooper DeJean at 5. There's just something about that kid. I just absolutely, every time I watch him play, man, he is just absolutely great. Guys, please hit the like button here. Number 4, Zach Bond. Number 3, Jalen Carter. Number 2, A.J. Brown. And number 1, Barkley. Those are my game balls. And what we saw. Cooper was fantastic. Just really great. But Daniel Tomlinson to the Jets, I don't remember him being that great with the Jets. Still, they have a great offensive line. Maybe any running back would have been great. I don't think so, because you had any running back the previous 2 years. Swift was a little above being average, and you had Miles Sanders, who had 1 year like that. And by the way, once again, Saquon Barkley never showed any of this in New York. Never showed any of this outside of maybe his rookie year. And he was there 6 years. So he's never at any place ever showed this, that he was having and had this kind of ability to carry a football. And by the way, the O-line and him are matching up perfectly like Emmett and the O-line in Dallas did. Okay? Honestly. Yeah, it's yet to be determined, Anthony, on how this thing ends here. And this has been part of my takeaway. By the way, Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. And at 4:30, Gary Cobb, please hit the like button. Samuel, what do you mean by no Goddard? I thought Goddard played well. He had 3 catches for like 30-some yards in there, got a touchdown catch. I thought he showed a little bit. Please tell me he's not hurt again. I'm sick and tired of that guy. If Dallas Goedert is hurt, I can't wait to move off of him in the offseason. I'm tired of that guy being injured. He brings nothing to a football team. Hey, he's hurt again? Yeah, Pat goes like this. He did have a touchdown. Yeah, Pat, no one said he's not good. Pat, he's always hurt. Now he'll miss more significant time. How do you build an offense around a tight end who's never there? I mean, how do you build an offense around a guy who's never there? Was he going to play 12 games this year? Year before he played less? He misses an extended period of – he misses 25% of his career every year. Do you understand that? I mean, it's time to move off. Dude, and by the way, what's hard about it is that nobody thinks he sucks. I don't think he sucks. I don't think Dallas Goedert sucks. That's not what I'm saying here. Here. So here's Dallas Goedert. So he's hurt again. God knows how many. We'll wait and hear what John McMullen says. So right now, he's played in 9 ball games for the Eagles. They've played what? 11? So he's missed 2. Now he looks like he's going to miss more. Last year, he missed 3. The year before that, he missed 5. The year before that, he missed 3. And the year before that, in 25, he was split in time or had some time with Zach Ertz. So it's hard to sit there. But since he's been a starter, he's missed about 4 or 5 games a year as an average. I mean, you think you can build your offense around a guy you're not sure is going to be in your lineup? Right? So here, get this. Does this hurt the passing game even more now? Yeah. Tight end will be out. Devontae will probably be back. But now you're going to have to try to – again, you got Carolina, though. Then the last test will probably be the Steelers. I mean, you really don't have any other – 15-2 is not out of the realm of possibility here. The Steeler game is going to be there, but I think you're better in Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't really see anything here. And you're still going to be fighting for home field advantage. It would not shock me if Philadelphia wins the home field because Detroit has a lot of games left of significance here. Okay? But that's right. Steelers' last game is truly the last competitive. Okay? Absolutely. Goddard, Maddox, Bradbury, Slay, Van Sumeren gone next year. Sounds about right. Seals, they reported the injury was very minor during the game. Now indications he's going to miss time yet. That's terrible. Okay? That's terrible that you end up missing that kind of time. Calcaterra is the answer. I think you need a tight end in the draft. Damn, Goddard probably broke his knee, a regular ass tackle where he got the first down across the middle of the field. So also have ass lead ligaments. Dude, it's always something with him. She's taking Commanders? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's still a rigged. They already know who's going to win the Super Bowl. Like, you probably believe that no one landed on the moon either, too, right? That the world's flat. What's your name, Kyrie Irving? Detroit plays Green Bay, the Vikings, and the Bills. They can lose any one of those games or all 3 of them. I wanted the tight end Pittsburgh got last year. Wish we got him. There's a lot of great tight ends that are coming out of college. Okay? that kid Brock Bowers I think that kid Brock Bowers with the Raiders might actually be the best tight end in football right now. Just tuning in, what did I miss? Hour and 30 minutes. Okay. I think he's the best tight end. I saw him play on Thanksgiving. I can't believe how great he is. That kid from Georgia is absolutely sensational. Okay? Absolutely sensational. God, I love it. You notice one guy I didn't bring up. So let me, before we get Xander on here, by the way, please hit the like button. You guys have been absolutely great. Thank you very much. Give us a total right now on our likes. What'd you make of Jalen Hurts' game? What'd you make of Jalen Hurts' game? C plus? Mid? Typical Hurts game to me? C plus? Had an efficient game. Let me before I can get Xander on here, the president of the Jalen Hurts fan club, I just want to make sure we get that here. Hurts has me worried, says Joe. Well, before we get the commissioner of the fan club, and when Xander was down in Alabama, man, he used to hand out leaflets. Don't forget to vote for the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year, Jalen Hurts, because that's my boy. And he's now the official Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, president of the fan club. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Give me a total on that. So here's what Jalen Hurts is now trending towards. 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 101 quarterback rating, 68.4 in percentage, 628 yards rushing, and 12 touchdowns. All right. I mean, it's 3,500 yards. Here, let me just give you this here. Let me show you these guys. Burrow's on pace for 47-27, 43-7, 107-4. I get it. 67 completion percentage. Lamar, 43-02, 38-4. 116 quarterback rating. Baker Mayfield, 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 101 rating, 70 completion percentage. How about Jared Goff, 4,400 yards, 31 TDs, 109, 3, and 72 completion percentage. Josh Allen, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 picks. And how about this one here? This goes into Xander. Here's Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is on pace for 3,686 passing yards. Jalen Hurts is on pace for 3,533. Both guys are on pace for 20 touchdowns. One guy's on pace for 8 interceptions, the other 7. It looked like the same guy to me. Like the same guy. Woo! How you doing? All right, don't forget, Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30. We had an absolute amazing pre- and post-game show. It was absolutely off the charts. We appreciate everybody coming to the show on Sunday. It was great. It was a big-time win for the Eagles. I know some of you out there were expecting I don't know what from Big Sills, but great win. And all that work he did yesterday, the co-host of Birds 365, it is Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's going on, Big Sills? 8 in a row, baby.
What's that?
I said 8 in a row, baby.
8 in a row.
It's impressive. I don't care who you beat or how you do it. That's impressive in the NFL. 8 straight wins.
It is. No, it absolutely is. There's no getting around that. Okay, just your overall takeaway, man. I mean, at 24 hours after everything, your takeaway from what transpired in that game and your overall view of how you think they pulled that game out and won that game yesterday.
We're a tough football team to play. We keep coming. I'm getting an echo. Why am I getting an echo?
It doesn't sound it.
No?
No.
It sounded like it was coming from your side. Anyway, we're a tough football team to play. We're physical. Sills, our defense is as legit as it gets at this point in the year through 13 weeks. And we got an unbelievable closer in Saquon Barkley. And our team is built not in a modern way. It's not built in a modern way, or at least they don't play in a modern way. They're like an old school football team. They got a great defense. Points are hard to come by, and they just keep coming. And, the thing is, every team we've played, even the physical teams, they haven't been able to be as physical as us as long as us. And when you have that in the NFL, I think you can beat anybody. And, my biggest concern right now is the slow starts. But other than that, I think right now this team would be foolish to not put this team at least in the NFC title game.
How about this?
I think they're there.
You don't believe the Eagles shut down the Ravens yesterday.
Yeah, I believe some of your stats are a little bit fuddy.
They're not stats. They went. Where did they? How about this? You don't think holding a team to 250 yards in total offense, the Ravens did? They were not a good defense.
Yeah, but are you going to insinuate to me that every game in the NFL you should have X amount of yards or give up X amount of yards?
No.
Listen, this was two heavyweights, Sills.
Correct.
You're looking at. I don't care.
No.
What did they hold us to? We won the game. Some of those games, though,
you're taking offense to what I'm saying, that both teams were physical with one another, and you don't like the fact that Baltimore was too.
Okay, and who won?
That's not what I'm fucking saying.
Well, that's the barometer and how to determine who won in physicality.
You're changing a complete narrative that I didn't have. I said the defense dictated Lamar making shitty decisions, which he did, but to sit there and say that they shut them completely down was an absolute not what happened in that game. That defense did such a good job at making that guy make poor decisions. That's what the outcome of that game was. Dude, if you think 170 yards and 5 yards a clip is bad rushing the football, you got a different view than what I did. And by the way, they held them to a season low. Everything under your total. They didn't do one thing exceptional offensively yesterday. Do you think they did?
No, I think they ran the ball well. I think they kept coming. I think they were consistent in what they wanted to do, and they won in the end. That's my point.
I think they outcoached
what I thought of the game. I tell you what I thought of the game, and now you're crying a hissy fit. Are you upset that you picked the Ravens to win the game?
You're trying to change the narrative that they out-physicaled them. They didn't.
You're trying to tell me we didn't out-physical that team when we did. I watched it with my own two eyes.
I didn't see
Derrick
that.
Henry averaged 4.3 yards a carry yesterday.
Okay, and the other guy averaged 4.3. Both of them were 6 yards a carry guys. So both of them got stuffed. Okay.
Okay, and who had the game-changing play at the end in the fourth quarter?
Xander, you're trying to tell me that you think you beat them up. You didn't.
We did beat them up. They had 12 points until the final 30 seconds of the game.
Defense did a great job on points. Yes, no doubt.
Okay, so how do we determine who beat up who?
They stuffed your passing game, which stinks. They stuffed your season average.
We had 19 attempts. If we had 40 attempts, it'd be a different story.
Hey, I'll tell you what. This is a losing argument for me here because you didn't.
I don't know what you're arguing. You haven't made a point on what you're arguing. You asked me for my take on the game. I told you, and now you're crying that I said we out-physicaled them.
They didn't. Nowhere in the game did you out-physical them.
Okay, I disagree.
You out-thought them and out-coached them.
Oh, I'll take that. Out-coaching is great when you got John Harbaugh.
They completely out-coached them.
They won at the line of scrimmage, Sills. They didn't win in the air.
Hoss, like John said and I yesterday, they moved the ball at will too, the Ravens.
Okay, good. The tune of 12 points.
That's two different arguments and conversations. I said the defense made them make poor decisions, but to sit there and say you dominated them, there's nowhere. They had 71 plays to 50 plays. How are you dominating?
Yeah, but that's the defense, Sills. What's it called?
That's the point I'm making.
What's the nickname? for this defense. Bend but don't break.
Lindbergh cheese defense.
No, it's not. Lindbergh cheese my ass. You can take that and stuff it in your Thanksgiving turkey because that's a bullshit comment. This defense is the number one defense in the NFL, has now played like that versus multiple top elite quarterbacks, and they're proving it week in and week out. I mean, what are you trying to take it away from them for? Where in the world did you see them dominate them? Really? That's not what I saw. They out-totaled them. They out-rushed them. They out-first downed them. They outplayed them. No, plays. They outplayed them. The defense was the story of that game. And Lamar being all over the place and playing I thought he played shitty. And Lamar did play
they
shitty.
won on special teams. They are special teams. How many times did that punter keep them in under the 5-yard line or inside the 10-yard line? 4 or 5 times? That was a huge part of that game. And on top of that,
wait, let me give you the stats on that.
On the board.
He had 5 punts inside the 20 and 2 punts inside the 10. It's actually, were they inside the 5? I know the one was inside the 5. Was the second one
inside? 2?
I mean, it was crazy how good Braden Mann really flipped the game for us in that first half with that punt, and then the Ravens couldn't get anything going from the 1. Then we got the ball in plus territory, and that was when we really kick-started things on the offensive side.
Yep, the third quarter, that's when really I thought Philadelphia took the game over.
Yeah, I mean, what you're looking at with the stats you're given, just like on outplaying, having 71 plays, is it's the first quarter and the third quarter. The Eagles had 6 plays in the third quarter. So I remember watching it and being like, the third quarter's already over. Did we even get the ball? I mean, we didn't have the ball at all. And the Ravens, to the Eagles' defensive credit, the Ravens had the ball for 12 or 13 minutes of possession in that quarter. They didn't get a single point. They didn't get a single point.
They could have closed them out.
Well, in the first game, that's what I'm worried about with the starts, because I know it looks pretty, but you got to thank this defense. In the start of the game, we had 4 straight punts on offense. And that's what I don't get. Like, even listen, I love this team. What I don't understand is we suck in the first quarter right now. Can everybody agree with that? We suck in the first quarter, correct? Okay. The first play of the game on offense for the Eagles, they ran the ball between the tackles and Saquon Barkley got 13 yards. Then they pass, they're out. Next drive, they come back. 1 run, pass, you're out. 4 straight drives. And I'm like, why do I watch the Ravens early in the game? First down, hand it to Henry. Second down, hand it to Henry. Third and short, you convert. Like, why don't the Eagles? It's not hard to get this first half thing fixed, or the first quarter thing fixed. But anyway, if you took away
overcook it. I think they overcook it.
I don't know what I think they're trying to be something they're not in those first couple plays that they have, or they're trying to create this fairy tale offense that they dream of in their head, and then they realize, okay, it doesn't work. We're behind. We got to go and do our thing again. Why not just be who you are, embrace it, own it, and tell everybody who tries to tell you not to be that, fuck you, try and stop me. That's my approach in life, though, right? Like, what? That would be like me telling you, hey, don't act like Dan Sileo today. You'd be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to be Dan Sileo. The people that like me are going to come here and grow my show. The people that don't are going to cry and F off. Same thing. Be who you are. Be who you are. I don't know why they shy away from it. But anyway, I'm nitpicking. We're 10-2, where it's 8 straight.
No.
I'm admittedly nitpicking, though. But that would be my nitpick. It's not the passing game. It's
nitpicking is great, because you know why? Nitpicking is what cost you a Super Bowl in 22. The smallest things are going to cost you that game. You can't have mistakes when you play Mahomes or one of these other guys when you're in that game and those teams are playing like that. Xander, you can beat up Carolina. You can, by the way, one more time, I am not dismissing that victory. I personally think it's the best win in 2 years. Okay? That's just my opinion, because you had 2 guys playing elite ball, and you even had Roquan on the other side. And by the way, that fucking guy, Kyle Hamilton, can play. Yeah, they got some players.
He didn't have a great game, Kyle Hamilton.
But he got banged up, and I think that really affected him a lot back there.
But that was a big play with him.
He's an all-pro safety. I mean, you're talking about good football players in that game. My point is, again, they are beating different styles by just doing what you said. They're doing this. Well, this is who I am. And I know who you are, but I think I can beat your style. I can beat a counterpuncher. I can beat a jabber. But guess what? I'm a heavyweight champion, and I'm going to knock you out eventually. There's going to be somewhere in the fight, like George Foreman, who came on our program. You know what he said? George goes, this is the Eagles. You tell me if you agree. The Philadelphia Eagles are not worried about winning quarters. They're worried about knocking you out. George Foreman used to say this all the time. I wasn't worried about winning rounds. I was worried about winning a fight.
Right.
So he never cared how it looked until the end. That's all he cared about. And that's kind of how I look at this Eagle team. They don't care how it looks, Xander.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a fair point.
When they get to the end, that's how it looks for them, whatever.
It's a fair point. I mean, to just to elaborate on my nitpick, the reason I worry about it is if we don't have this defense playing this good. Now, I'm sold this defense is going to be this good, but we also have to remember this is the NFL. On any given Sunday, the number one defense can get turned on their head, just like the number one offense could get turned on their head. Correct. You're playing the best players in the world. You got to show up on every single game and deliver the goods. So your margin for error in the start of those games is very small. Think about it. The Ravens started with 3 and 6. It should have been 10. And then they got the ball back 2 more times before the Eagles offense woke up and said, hey, did somebody in the offensive huddle forget that we have an MVP at running back? Okay, we decide to use him again. Things start working. By the way, to Jalen's credit, I thought he was great in that second quarter. Completed 9 of 11 passes, a touchdown pass, made good throws in stride, threw A.J. Brown open a couple times. I thought that was his best moment in the game. But that's my fear with the slow starts. If you go up against, I know Detroit, everybody wants to talk about Detroit, but forget Detroit for a second. Let's say you go up against the Buccaneers. Let's say you go up against the Green Bay Packers. Let's say you go up against any one of those teams that is able to capitalize on one of those first 2 or 3 drives where the Birds aren't getting it going. Now you're forcing us to play that new brand of football that you and John are looking for, right? Right now, we can get away with bullying teams all throughout, even in the fourth quarter. We're still running the ball. That's because our defense is so damn good. It's giving our offense the time to be able to play that way. If we have another slow start versus a better team, or forget a better team, just a team that capitalizes on those first couple drives, now you're looking at a different scenario. Now, I think the Eagles would be able to handle it, but that would be my fear with those slow starts. I mean, the last thing you want to do, Sills, is go down 21-0 to Detroit because Kellen Moore wanted to throw the ball in the first quarter. You know, that's my fear with the start of the games. But it is a nitpick. It's a nitpick.
I don't get it, though. I mean, the first 25 are the plays that your coaches and your quarterback and your coordinator and your quarterback coach all huddle together all week long. Yeah, and those are the plays that you're going to go out and you're going to try to attack. It's been a colossal failure since Green Bay. I mean, they have not had a good first quarter, but maybe for one ball game. I mean, Xander, you can make the argument they're the worst first quarter football team offensively in pro football.
Yeah, I think they are.
They just don't get it going. And then when they're off script, they're 10 times better once they get off script and they start doing the thing that they do best, run the ball. They start running it almost by, get this, well, okay, so the passing game's not working. Let's run it. Hey, dude, it's one-dimensional that's working.
It is. And, large credit, it goes to the defense, like I said, because you're able to play bully ball all throughout versus when you're down by multiple touchdowns, it becomes you better, that passing game, we laugh about it, we joke about it, 118 yards, this, 25th. You better hope that passing game is better right now than the stats show. And I'm saying that as an Eagle fan and every Eagle fan.
That's a great take.
Now, I think it's better. I believe if they needed to do that, they could do it. I don't think they've needed to this point.
The first quarter shows you they're not really capable of it because that's where they look what they did against Baltimore. Like you said, they're throwing. All of a sudden, it's sputtered, and it seems to be a trend. They try to do that to get that passing game going in the first quarter, and they've been shut down every game.
That's fair, but I don't think that's the right approach. Like, also, can I ask a question about a narrative that I think should be completely debunked? And honestly, if you ask the player, I bet you he'd debunk it. Why don't we run more traditional play action? Who came up with this thing that Jalen can't play under center? Okay, maybe it's not his preference as an elite athlete. Maybe it's not. We got the best running back in the NFL. We got a running back who's on pace for 2,100 yards. I don't think people realize how unbelievable. When did Eric Dickerson set that record? 1985?
Yeah.
Somewhere back in the. Think
21
about that.
2105.
We're talking about 35 years since a running back has run the ball like this in the NFL. And you're telling me our quarterback can't go under center? I think he can go under center. Do it.
Can I tell you
I think he would thrive. You saw yesterday a play across the middle to A.J. Brown. Sorry, I know I'm yapping, but a play across the middle to A.J. Brown. He was under center, drop back, play action, and he got the ball out. Like, I think we should run way more of that stuff. But anyway, they don't want to do it, and I don't understand why.
Can I tell you what I think the problem is with him under center?
Yeah, go for it.
I think his feet aren't great. I don't think he gets back. I don't think his footwork getting back into the pocket. I think he drifts. And I don't really think he taps himself back there. And you know what it does too? Xander, think about this. When you go from under center, you have to drop back, and then you have to process the information. That whole added concept of you drifting back and getting back, setting your feet, and then reading the defense, you have to have a pre-snap idea where you're going with the ball. You have to know where the blitzes are coming. You've had to already set protection. Do you know how many guys are gifted on being able to do just that from under center? The superstar guys. And get this, do I think Allen can do that? I don't know. Maybe a little, but not a lot. There's so few. Joe Burrow can do that.
Yeah.
There's so few dudes that can do that. Drop back, process the information, look around, know where pre-snap is. Jalen's still learning in that philosophy. And I think he drifts because he's looking for pressure. And I think that's why, get this, number one thing you do to him, he rolls right with any kind of pressure. He still does that. And I think they have a little bit more to work on with him in the pocket. I think his pocket presence, he took another sack in the game. I just think he's not real great in the pocket. But when he's out in the perimeter and he has to run, I'll tell you what I thought he did well. And I was going to ask you what, your takeaway on Jalen Hurts. I'll say this. I saw some RPOs implemented. For the first time in a bit, he ran him to perfection.
Now John had a take on that. I'm not sure if you caught Birds 365 this morning. John views that as an indictment. Now, they're not going to come out and say that publicly, but he's saying they're scaling back for the quarterback who's in year 5. Now, it's similar to what
that's okay, Xander.
Exactly. That's where I am. Now, I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
I believe our team is good enough around Jalen Hurts for this team to win a Super Bowl. Listen, we just debated Eli Manning on this show.
I don't have a problem with that.
Think about that, though. We just debated Eli Manning on this show a couple weeks ago. He's going to the Hall of Fame because he won the Super Bowl twice. Is Eli Manning an elite player?
No.
Our team is much better right now around Jalen Hurts than those Giants teams were with Eli. Or I think even in that Broncos team was with Peyton. Or all these teams who have the quarterback. Our team is up there with any of them in terms of weapons, the offensive line, now the running game. I mean, you got everything you need. So right now, I'm not concerned about Jalen because I believe Jalen is playing how we need him to play to win games. Do people want Jalen to look like this elite player? I get it. I think people do. I think people want that. I think, not as a knock on you, I think you want that. You're being sold, this guy's a $51 million player. Why don't I see elite? I'm comfortable with him being what he is right now.
I saw him elite with the RPO.
You're right. He was.
He ran that thing to perfection. And I went like this. Holy shit, look at that RPO in there. Didn't he complete a touchdown pass on that thing?
Yeah, last night to Goddard. That was an RPO.
That was an RPO play. I went like this, Xander. I went, holy shit, man, they put some RPOs here. Now, John's saying that that's an indictment. It is an indictment, but so what?
Exactly.
If it results in getting touchdowns, dude, it's like even the media guys are fighting him from playing like 22. That's ridiculous. Dude, I saw at least 3 or 4 RPOs, and I was like this. Holy cow. That's really great. He is, in that game yesterday, he was a better decision maker than Lamar. How many times did you see Lamar throw into quadruple coverage? 4, 5?
And don't you think, Sills, what you just said, Don't you think that's very important when you have a team this talented? Because, like, look, we can
Yes.
want
Know your
Josh
strengths and
Allen.
weaknesses.
Josh Allen needs to make more decisions, and he's gonna make more wrong decisions because he has to. He doesn't have a football team around him that's
Correct.
good enough to win the biggest games.
Correct.
Jalen does. So
Correct.
that factors into what my expectations are of him. That's just as hard of a task for some quarterbacks as being a great pocket passer, is
Let me show
making
you.
the right decision.
Let me
You know?
show you
I think
where
he's done a pretty good job at that.
let me show you where your comment is spot on. Okay. Josh Allen has to make a spectacular play to continue to move the chains. You know what Jalen has to do?
The right play.
Get a punter to pin the ball down inside the 10-yard line 4 times and have my defense play like it did. I'm going to get another day to live. And do you remember what happened? How the field position changed when they kept kicking that? All of a sudden, the Eagles are getting the ball on the 45, they're 45,
Right.
and they're going almost half the field to be able to start scoring. That, to me, is what changed the game, is the field position and special teams.
You're right, man.
Plus the misses. Hurts can do this. Hey, man, my best friend, this was Brady's. Brady's best friend was a punt or a field goal. Dude, he won 3 Super Bowls early on in his first 10 years with field goals and punts.
Dude,
That's
you know
how
what
they won.
I don't understand, actually? And maybe this is a dumb comment. Everybody can tell me if it is. I don't understand why the NFL as a whole doesn't value punters more. I mean, think about it, Sills. If you have 3 great punts a game, you can set your team up, just like the Eagles yesterday, to start at the 50 versus inside the 20. That's 30 yards right there. You give me 2 or 3 of those a game, that's a 100-yard game right there that you added that your offense didn't have to do, or your defense could handle more.
They're the only player on the field that can flip field position for you.
I agree. That's why I'm like, I would be looking for the best punter in the world.
That's why Kansas City signed Matt Araiza.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. And by the way, Braden Mann's been great. Yeah, crazy Chonka. You're right, man. Game of inches. Every yard matters. I'm surprised there's not more emphasis put on. You hear a lot of teams just sign any random punter. I mean, that's kind of what Howie did with Braden Mann. Now it's worked out. He's been pretty good, but I would like to find a. That's why I like that Matt Araiza kid. He's with the Chiefs, right? He's been pretty good with them.
And by the way, he's done exceptionally well with them.
Yeah,
helping them because why their offense. The offense has sputtered a lot this year, right? Well, guess what? The defense's best friend is
exactly a good punter.
Dude, you got a good punter, okay? He's helping your defense.
Look
what that punting team did for that defense yesterday.
Yep, Baltimore offense couldn't do anything starting from the 1-yard line. Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. It's a big thing, field position and how it impacts, especially when you get to the games when you're playing great teams, right? And everything matters. You're playing the Giants and you're up 28-7. Okay, field position is going to be what it's going to be. But you're playing the Ravens, you're playing the Lions. I think even the Packers, dude. I can't wait for this Thursday night game, dude. That's going to be
Green Bay and Detroit is going to be massive.
That's going to be a hell of a game, man. That Green Bay team is a sneaky team. Yeah, remember they got hot late last year and they dismantled the Cowboys in the playoffs. Everybody remembers that, I'm sure. That's a pretty good team. They're a scary team. They can be good.
I don't know what happened to Justin Tucker, but Justin Tucker lost that game for them. They had 7 points, 2 field goals missed, an extra point. I mean, they had that game and special teams. Get this. So the Ravens special teams failed and the Eagles special teams was sensational. And then you look at the numbers in between with both teams, they're kind of in the same room together. What really came down was poor decision-making by Lamar, great special teams by the Eagles, and a defense that played situationally that made them make the critical plays. I'll tell you what I was really shocked. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 sacks, but those 3 or 4 sacks, why did Lamar just throw the fucking ball away? Why was he hanging on to it so much in the pocket like that? He took himself out of field goal position at least 3 times in that ball game with some of those plays.
You know what I think might be happening at times to Lamar, and I had fears about this happening with Jalen. It ultimately hasn't, but I think he's almost so flipped that I need to make a play in the passing game that he's now leaving yards on the table to not run.
You see his mom bitching him out?
Yeah, I saw. I think I did see. I didn't see
his
like
mom bitched him out because she's his agent, and she goes like this. He comes walking.
Take them yards.
Hey, he comes walking up to her after the game. She's like, you left about 100 yards on the field. I mean,
He did.
everyone heard it.
He did. I was watching some of the All-22 today. He did. He absolutely left a lot of yards out there. And I don't want that to happen to Jalen. You know, you're so in love with making a play downfield. If there's 15 easy yards, give me the 15 easy yards. Let's get to the next play. He is. Yeah, he's a different type of player. Lamar is more of a jukey fast. He's a very fast player. He plays at a fast pace. Jalen is almost like a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, more like a Yugo, but okay. Hey, how about this? Let's go to it. What'd you make of his play?
Jalen's?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think, I'm good with where he is because I think this is what the team needs him to be. I think you have enough talent. You got Saquon. You got this offensive line. You have receivers when you're going to use them. I mean, you have everything you need. And I mentioned it a little bit ago. I can live with him missing some throws. I don't want to live with him having 7 turnovers in a 4-game period. That was unlivable. Now with where he is, now I know he's not a world beater. He's not an MVP player right now. I mean, nobody should,
make a Nick. By the way,
you're right. You were right. That's what you said. He oversells.
All super chats will be read at the end of our segment here with Xander. What do you make of Nick overselling that whole thing and going overboard with him being an MVP? You don't have to sell us, dude. He's 10-2 or whatever he is.
Yeah, but listen, that's what coaches do. And look, it's an oversell job. It's an oversell job. But think about it from Nick's shoes, right? He's trying to insulate his player from unnecessary rat poison, you could call it, after 8 straight wins. I think that's fine. I'm not going to say that Nick fooled me with it, but I'm going to acknowledge I'm okay with him doing it.
Who's he talking about, I wonder? Just keeping score here. I mean, who's he talking about here? You're going to get the criticism because he knows that Big Sills is there like a vulture.
Big Sills got egg on there. You got egg on your face, big head.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I don't have any egg.
Against the birds again. You picked against the birds again.
What have you done?
Nothing yet.
All right.
Other than handle who's in front of us for the last 8 weeks.
I'll say this to you, Xander. In the NFC, Minnesota. No, sorry, I'm not. Sam Darnold. I'm not even going to consider them. And give me another. I mean, Green Bay. I think has some players that can win and do things, but outside of that, because they have a running game with Josh Jacobs. Okay, outside of that, is there another team in the NFC going into the playoffs right now? Washington. Here.
Let me look at the playoff picture real quick because I do think there's a couple teams in the NFC, not that are scary, but you don't particularly want to see
the NFC right now. It's Lions, Eagles, Seahawks, Falcons, Vikings, Packers, Commanders, and the Bucs are in the 8-hole right now. And the Bucs seemingly have the Eagles number when it comes to how to defend Jalen.
Yeah, like Eagle fans aren't going to like this, but it's the truth. I don't want to see the Buccaneers in the playoffs.
I don't either.
Listen, I know we're a better team. I don't want to see that team in the playoffs.
You mean you don't want to see Todd Bowles?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Exactly. And by the way, put some respect on Baker Mayfield. That dude is having a season.
Hey, he got his guys back, man. And
even when he didn't have his guys back, he was putting up 300 plus in the air. I mean, that dude he's a new player, but I don't want to see the Bucs. I'd have to look at the rest of who else is fighting to get in on the NFC side. Let me look real quick.
I didn't. The 49ers are still down there, but I think they're dead. The Rams are still fighting to get into the playoffs too.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they lost one. So Cardinals and Bucks are both at 6-6. I wanted the Commanders to drop that game. I don't want. Actually, I'd rather play the Commanders, and if let's just say for a second we get the 2 seed, I'd rather play the Commanders and the Bucks or the Cardinals.
Here's what it would be right now. It would be Commanders going to the Lincoln Financial to take the Eagles on. It would be the Packers going to the Seahawks and playing Seattle, and it would be the Vikings going to the Falcons. Called division winners host home games. And in my opinion, Eagles would beat the Commanders. They would move on to the next round, the divisional round. Then you would have Seattle, Green Bay would win. So then it would be probably Green Bay would have to take on the Lions because they would be the lesser seed because the Vikings would take on you. You would have to take on the Vikings at home in the second round of the playoffs. So we would go Commanders, Vikings, and then probably Lions for you to get to the Super Bowl.
I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Now that's if
Commanders
the
aren't touching.
Lions
Come
hold
on,
suit.
Commanders in the link. What's
But
that?
that's if the Lions hold suit and
Yeah,
host
and
home field.
they got the Bills and the Packers in the next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I think they follow up the Packers game with the Bills.
Here's the AFC. The two teams that already clinched playoffs, Chiefs and Bills. You got the Steelers in the 3 hole. You got the Texans in the 4 hole. The Chargers 5. You got Ravens 6, and you got Broncos 7. And the 8 hole right now is the 6 and 7 Indianapolis Colts. Who would have thought this, man? That both former coordinators could have 2 playoff teams. Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen could have their football teams in the postseason playing postseason football. That would absolutely be amazing. All right, Xander, I got one for you. Who's had a bigger impact on the football team on defense, Cooper DeJean or Quinyon Mitchell?
I got to say Quinyon still. I get what you're saying, and I am impressed as hell with Cooper DeJean. I think you're right. He's a little bit of a flashier player, but we can't understate how important it is to have a guy on the outside locking down, wide receivers in the modern NFL.
I didn't say who's better, Xander. I didn't say who's better.
You said who's more important.
Who's had a bigger impact, like with juice, fucking bringing it to the table, tone setting?
Gotta go Q, man. It's not. It's a silent. It's a harder to recognize impact. But we even had a bona fide cornerback on the outside on that side in a long time. I mean,
did you like my compare? I'm comparing him to John Lynch.
Who?
Cooper DeJean.
What do you mean, John Lynch?
John Lynch, the former Buck, the guy who was a safety who knocked everyone out and set a tone for that Buck defense in 2002. He's now the general manager of the 49ers.
Yeah, I know he's the manager now.
Yeah, but he's a Hall of Fame.
Was he a good player? Obviously,
Hall of Famer.
Well, that's
he was just inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. He's got
John
9 Pro
Lynch.
Bowls. Hey, he's got 9 Pro Bowls.
You know what they're calling him in Philly, right?
What?
Chalk Dog.
Oh, my God. It's awesome. God, I love that. God, I love that.
Cooper Chalkins.
Saquon Barkley. Do you remember Terrell Owens playing in that 04 team?
I was 6 years old. I mean, I remember, I've seen highlights and everything, but I can't say I remember that.
Okay. Can you, in your lifetime, think of a player that's had a bigger impact on a football team that they signed than him?
Than Saquon?
In your lifetime?
No way. I can only think of bust. That were expecting, DeMarco Murray. Who are the 2 cornerbacks that we got?
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Who's the other one? Byron? Yeah.
I forget the other guy.
Byron Maxwell, was it?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Saquon's unbelievable, man. You're right. This is Howie's best free agent signing maybe ever, for sure. And what he's been able now. Malcolm, there you go, Kyle. That's a good one. Malcolm Jenkins. That's a good one. He was an impact and obviously a Super Bowl winner here. So big impact there. But yeah, Saquon's been unbelievable, man. It's fun to watch. And like I said, we got an Eric. This guy's on pace for when did Eric Dickerson set that record?
84.
84 was it?
105.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. You're talking about 40
he did that.
years.
He did that in 16 games.
That's true. 40 years, though. 40 freaking years that thing held up. 40 years.
With all the backs that they've had.
With all the backs that have come through the league.
Emmett, Barry, all them guys. Adrian Peterson, Shady.
Crazy.
Okay? I mean, think about that.
Crazy.
You got to remember something, though. Dickerson I played against him. Dickerson was a different dude. He could carry the ball 385 times. He's a lot like Derrick Henry. Okay, ran upright, right? Yale ran upright and through the line of scrimmage. Dickerson's first year out of SMU, he went for 1884. Then the next year he went for 2105. Like I told you before, Xander, he had 4,000 rushing yards in 2 years, his first 2 years in the league. He just annihilated teams, but he had one important thing. He had a great O-line. And I said this before. I'll say it again. I think Howie Roseman has learned something from Barkley. Man, dude, Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's above average. He's a good player, but Miles Sanders is okay. when you have an elite back with the matched up with that line, I don't think Philly will ever not have an elite running back ever again to match that old line because, dude, you really think Zach Bond is the number one priority to sign? I'll tell you, that guy at right guard, man, I might be thinking because I'll tell you what, he fucking blows people off the Xander. I watched the 20. I'm watching it this morning. I'm like, this guy's knocking people 5 yards off the ball. He's not a guard. He's not a guard.
Still, the Eagles are. I'll tell you right now, if I've learned anything about this team from talking to you and John and everybody else I've talked to in the last 4 years since I started this business, the team is thinking more like you are right now than the fans are. Mekhi Becton's probably a bigger priority inside that locker room than Zach Bond is. That's just the Eagles' philosophy. They want to build the lines. And look, we might want the flashy pick every once in a while, but we got to love that they do that, man, because our offensive line has been a force for years. And it's the reason that we're so competent every year, I think.
I would take a top-flight offensive lineman over a top-flight linebacker. Watch this. Sills, who would you take? Just name the best offensive lineman. Say Trent Williams. Would I take Trent Williams or would I take Roquan Smith? I'd take Trent Williams all night.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to take the old lineman over a linebacker any day, and he's good. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, here's a comment I'll disagree with. This guy says Becton is only worth signing because he's the long-term answer at right tackle. I don't agree with that at all. I'm good if he was a guard for life. Dude, Ambler, let me just explain something to you. We got a running back who's on pace to break a record that hasn't been broken in 40 years. That right guard is worth every penny that they're going to give Mekhi Becton, whether he's the answer at right tackle or not. I'm locking that thing up.
You know how that doesn't make sense to the Eagles? Landon Dickerson was drafted as a center, and now he's an all-pro left guard. You think he was the answer to move over for Jason Kelce? No. What they did was they went out and they evaluated a center in Cam Jurgens, and they got him. So they didn't move him. Believe it. I mean, Landon was a center at Alabama. He wasn't a left guard. And so he was supposed to be the answer after Kelce. They saw how great he was and went, yeah, we're going to leave that alone. And I think that's what they would do here also with Becton. They would leave that alone. Dude, he has to be the biggest guard like in football right now. I've never seen anything like it.
For sure. I have a feeling Howie's going to get all of them signed. I have a weird feeling he's going to get Milton, Bond, and Becton all signed, and he better get Josh Sweat back here.
Well, here, okay, wait a minute now. Okay, so you want to get Becton back. That's $15 million.
Yeah, but can I explain something to you? Because I know you're going to do this and you're going to put big numbers on it. One of the luxuries that we've had here, Sills, in Philly is how Howie manages the cap.
Okay.
So you're going to read out the numbers, and yes, that's what they're worth. You know what the cap's hits are for the top guys on offense next year? Jalen Hurts' cap hit, $21 million. A.J. Brown's cap hit, $17 million. Dallas Goedert's, $11 million. Devontae Smith's, $7 million. Like, those guys aren't making that money. They're making double that and triple that.
Howie has $300 million to move around next year with money that's owed, though, throughout the entire roster.
Yeah, but my point is he's been so good at it in the past. Why would I assume he's not going to be able to do that in the future?
Okay, I just want, look, like you said, they're going to probably go up front and do all that stuff again and do all the money up front. You're talking Becton, $15 million. You're probably talking another 20 or another 10 for Milton. That's 25. Bond's 15. That's 34. That's 4. He's going to have to get. There's what money they're going to have to come up with for those guys when it comes to putting money up front. Now you do. Here's a good one. You do if you move off of Slay and you move off of Bradbury. There's 20 that you can roll back. Okay, they're going to have to pay a lot of guys up front.
Yeah, I think that, and look, they will. They've done that in the past. So again, I think they're going to get it done.
Linebacker.
Well, they did it with Nigel Bradham, who was the closest one, and he ultimately turned into be a bust. But not a bust. He wasn't a bust, but he didn't live up to the contract he got. I think it was in 2018 he got that contract. But look, wouldn't it be hard for you? And I'm not Howie Roseman. I can't put myself in his shoes. Wouldn't it be hard for you, though, to watch this team and not say, hey, that guy has made a really big difference on our football team. We should probably keep him around these parts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I know they haven't done it in the past. I understand. But how could any GM watch this team, look at the way they're built, look at how they're winning games, look at the credit to the defense, and say, yeah, we'll just interchange that linebacker.
Hey.
I don't think he's going to do it. I think it's simple, and I think Howie Roseman, look, for all his faults, he does learn lessons, and he does change the way he does things based on his mistakes and what he feels he did wrong in the past. And I don't think he's going to let Zach Bond leave. And I think in a way, it makes him a little bit vindicated on what he did with TJ Edwards, because TJ Edwards is not this player. TJ Edwards is not particularly close to this player. He was a one-dimensional line. He was great.
Well, they had a gap in there last year where the whole thing was a train wreck.
That's true. Maybe you could have got him there, but I'm just saying this is the type of player that maybe Howie was waiting for. If it's not this guy, it's nobody.
So are you saying Howie's had more experience and more success with undrafted free agents and drafting them? Because he has.
Well, I don't know, Sills. Listen, maybe at linebacker, yes. But,
totally.
I want to give credit to one of our great viewers, as we have many of them here on JAKIB. I love you all. You guys are the best. But one of you guys sent me a great list today. And they're clamoring, show this to Sileo, show this to Sileo, which is what most of my DMs say, by the way. We've been hard on Howie on draft and defense. We got to be honest and we got to be fair here. Cooper, Quinyon, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Reed Blankenship, Josh Sweat.
Reed was not drafted. He was a free agent.
Yeah. Oh, and Howie got him, though.
Yep.
So, is there going to be misses? Always. That's a decent.
Well, he's had 24 years of misses,
and that's not
now Xander. He's drafted 39 corners, and he landed on 2 after 24
So, do you want me to move on from the guy from what he did 15 years ago, or do you want me to acknowledge what he's doing?
I'm telling you, he had to get it right eventually because he drafted 38 of them.
It only took 15 years. Well, good. Here it is. Now we're here.
And by the way, how much of that is on Vic? If you're going to give Jeff Stoutland credit also for building old linemen, why not give Vic credit for also turning careers around on defense?
I am giving Vic credit. Vic deserves more credit. But listen, Howie gave him some dudes, and Vic is making the most of them. Okay, Vic's been in the league for 40 years. He hasn't been able to do that with every player he's coached. So Howie's got some misses, but every GM does, and he's certainly got some hits. And I think the wins are starting to accumulate on that defensive side a little bit more than they had in the past.
Do you believe the Lions are the best team in football? I mean, the Eagles are the best team in football.
Yes, I do. I was going to ask you that question. I think the Birds have eclipsed the Lions mainly right now because I think the Lions have taken some season-ending injuries that are going to.
You would take the Eagles over the Chiefs.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs were a better team in 22, and we came within a field goal of them. I think we're better in 24.
I think you were better in 22 than them. You had a better roster.
Yeah, but we got better. Are we better this year or in 22?
They were beat by Juju.
Are we better in this year or 22?
Well, right now I got to say 22 because you got there.
Okay, that's fair. But do you think we're trending to be better than we were in 22?
No, because you don't have the pressure. The pressure, you had 70 sacks.
Okay, so close up. I think we're better right now.
I think you had a guy who lead the NFL in interceptions. You were third in turnovers. You were number 1 in pressure on the quarterback. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
You had an historic pass rushing season that year. Only the 85 Bears had more sacks. I mean, but then again, Xander, watch this. You're talking about one of the top 3 performances in NFL history. And now you got all these young guys. Yeah. Now, do I think they can be gang? They're never going to be gangrene. You're not because you know why you can't be gangrene?
You can't be.
You can't keep those teams and those players around long like you did back in the day.
You also can't hit like those guys hit, or you can't act like those guys acted because you get a flag for. literally doing anything.
I got Gary Cobb coming up here. Let's do these super chats.
Yeah, no doubt. I do want to ask you real quick, what do you think is going to happen with the college football this week?
Oh, I think Miami has every opportunity and should never make the postseason. You lay an egg like that against Syracuse, don't ever tell me about being back ever again. I had this question asked to me 100 times about people telling me about being back. Fuck that. If you have to ask that question, we're not back. And you can't play defense. You want to hear something, Xander? I looked up some of our stats. We gave up 4 rushing touchdowns in 12 games the whole year. Okay? I mean, we gave up 8 points a game. If you're going to hang around the rim, you got to look like those Alabama defenses and those Kansas defenses. If you can't be giving up 38 points, 39 points, and 25 first downs to call yourself a contender. I just don't.
Now, how much of a step back?
Win it all.
Now, how much of a step back will Miami take if they lose Cam Ward and stuff? You're like, because right now I think offensively, I think they're there, but defensively they're not. How much of a step back are you thinking?
I think they're talking again. They got a top kid. They got a number 5 pick that's going in there into Miami this next year. But
is he going to be a freshman?
Yeah, he's going to be a freshman. But freshman versus experienced.
Yeah,
I don't
might take him a little bit.
Yeah, to me, again, I think the two things that the programs that we cover, Alabama and Miami, I think Alabama's got to get in the portal to get themselves a quarterback.
Yeah,
and I think Miami's got to get in the portal and get themselves a quarterback.
Well, Bama does have that one kid who's sitting there as a 5-star. He's pretty good, but I don't know what he'll be.
Georgia's
I think Bama, if Bama wants to get in, they're going to need, I think, SMU to beat Clemson and knock them off.
Yeah,
because if Clemson somehow wins that game, you're going to put SMU in, and then you're probably going to have Clemson in too.
Absolutely,
that's probably going to knock Bama off.
Yeah, because you're going to get 2 teams from the ACC in there.
Right, if Clemson wins. If Clemson
wins, that's right.
So.
But
I think SMU is a much better team than Clemson.
What'd you make of that? What'd you make of that Ohio State fight with Michigan?
Yeah,
over the weekend.
That coach needs to get the job done, man. You could have 4 straight losses to Michigan now.
Now he is Ryan Day.
Come on, buddy. You got to make that now. I'm no Ohio State fan. I could care less about the entire Big Ten. I don't give a shit about any of those teams, Penn State included. But I do think it was a good brawl. Now you gifted Penn State. Will they take advantage of it? Probably not, because James Franklin can't win the big game. He never has, never will. Yeah. And we'll see how it all plays out. Should be a good one, though.
I was okay with the Ohio State players not allowing the Michigan guys to plant the flag. However, Ryan Day should have handled it better, and he should have got his players off the field. Players getting maced. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't wreck the game. Don't wreck the game like that. I mean, I get hands being thrown. Xander, nobody gets beat up when you have your helmet on.
You know what else too, though? With the
I hate someone's going to get beat up.
And if you didn't want a team to plant their flag on your turf, how about you fucking beat them?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Beat them between the lines. Are you crying about it after? Dude, he just beat you.
Hey,
if you want to be able to defend your turf, then defend your turf.
Hey, that's a rivalry that is always going to have. Same thing with Auburn, Alabama, man.
Yeah. No,
same thing with Auburn, Alabama.
You want to do the supers after Gary? Or?
Yeah, let's do the supers after Gary. So real quick let's set it up with Gary here. For you, it's a signature win for sure, right?
I think it's a signature win, and I think this team is proven now, no matter what you throw at them, no matter what style of play they have, we can play our brand of football, and we can win because we're good enough where we need to be good enough, and that's the trenches, the offensive line. The defense has obviously been stout, and you have Saquon Barkley, who's one of the best, backs in the league, on pace for breaking Eric Dickerson, which is insane. I think we got the formula we need, Sills, to beat anybody in this league. Now, can they continue to play well into the back end? That's what matters. Like I said, you can have the number 1 ranked defense. On any given Sunday, a team can turn you on your head. It's the same thing with offense. It's the same thing. You got to
even with the 27th worst passing game in the NFL, you're okay with that?
I'm okay with it because of what the defense is doing and what Saquon Barkley's been. I think that tells part of the story. But would I like it to be better? Yeah, of course. But I think we can win without it being better because that's the way the team is built right now. But that means you're relying on your defense to be great in every game.
We'll do the super chats after, but you see this shirt I got on right here? Okay, this is the Black Knights. They just won the city championship in Stanford where Gary played. and they beat West Hill, and now they're the city champions. Gary's a city champion. I'm a city champion. Gary, that's a big deal. So, Xander, we'll get to the Supers after, okay? We appreciated that. We'll get to the Supers after, but let's bring Gary Cobb up right now here. And there you go, Gary. Look at that. Congratulations, Stanford High School, city champions in Stanford. They beat West Hill over the weekend, and they had the trophy, and they went around the stadium there, Boyle Stadium, one of the great stadiums in northern New England. Absolutely awesome. So they ended up winning the city title. I had to tell that to you.
Very good. Very good.
What'd you make your takeaway, Gary, from Sunday's game with Baltimore? Here, I want to throw something at you first here. I mean, Lamar didn't play well. The Eagles were held to their second lowest offensive output of 250 yards by Baltimore. Wasn't really an explosive, but the defense was explosive. What did you see in this game on what made them win this ball game on Sunday?
Well, they didn't start off well, really, on either side of the ball. They really weren't playing well, and the thing that saved them in a way was, those missed kicks, and the fact that, really not just the missed kick, but the fact that Baltimore couldn't finish the drive. They couldn't put the ball in the end zone. They scored one touchdown, but, they were kicking field goals. So they really weren't able to finish the drives. And that's ultimately what really wound up being a big difference in the game is that, the Eagles finished their drives. When they took it down there close, they punched it in. Whereas Baltimore didn't. And really the game wasn't as close as the score. The last score Baltimore had, the Eagles basically kind of, let them run out the clock, and they scored. So the game wasn't really as close because Baltimore couldn't finish their drives, meaning when they got down there close, they couldn't put the ball in the end zone. And really, the Eagles, when they did put together drives, they finished them. They didn't have as many. Baltimore really had gotten ahead when it came to yardage and everything, and they were doing the yardage. But I think all this says is, the Eagles are still not quite there yet, but they have a lot of qualities on the team that make them one of the best teams in the NFL. Now, are they going to be the best? Well, just in listening to your conversation you just had, that passing game is going to have to be where can we really count on the passing game to give us what they're capable of giving us? Meaning, like, you see in the game yesterday where they slow Saquon down. Okay, well then, we got a passing game, fellas. Now, Devontae didn't play. But with everybody in there, it can't just be AJ. But you saw Dallas Goedert getting involved, and you add Devontae. They got to have the passing game where they can throw for 300 yards with 3 touchdowns. They can add that. So that's where if they want to win a Super Bowl. The way the defense is playing like a Super Bowl defense. But is the offense complete to where it's not just too dependent on Saquon? The passing game, come on. You got Pro Bowl level players. They got to play like that in that passing game. That means, Jalen, AJ, Devontae, Dallas Goedert. You got to get all those guys involved. And I wouldn't say any of those other guys are on that level, but that's what the Eagles have got to do. They did not do that yesterday. Baltimore helped them with the missed kicks. Oh yeah, they couldn't finish the drives. But you see qualities though, man. Defensively, the way their young players are playing defensively, Cooper DeJean, the way this kid has come along with, you see him communicating, you see the other guys communicating, you see the linebackers, the way you got those the linebackers in the middle. I mean, the Eagles, they never really emphasized the linebacker position, But Gary, those linebackers are playing great football.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You played for Buddy Ryan, and is there any similarities on what Vic is doing with the players and getting the maximum out of these players? I mean, Dean looks like a completely different player. Josh Sweat is playing at a higher volume again, like he did in 22, when Vic was actually the consultant in the building. Now you're seeing, I mean, even Isaiah Rodgers stepped in for Slay yesterday, and I thought he had a great game. And look at them finding a guy like Zach Bond and putting him in the lineup. And the unit is playing with communication, and the unit is playing fast. And I am with you. After that game, that my takeaway was, okay, this thing's real. This is who they are. They're a good unit. Do you think he's made that kind of impact? Do you see some similarities on how he squeezes the best talent out of every single position? You know, they may not be superstar players, but he turns C players into B students, it looks like. Do you see that similarity?
I think you definitely could say that because you are getting guys that at least we never saw them play like the level they're playing at now. And they're playing at, you know, on the pro level, and to see the way the poise, the fact that regardless of what the other team brings out there, they're able to counter. And I think the strength of the team is really, you probably would say, the secondary. I mean, they do an extraordinary job, but you know, the linebackers, with the way these guys are making plays and they're not backing down anybody. But I loved it when the Gene kid, though, took your boy down like that, man. Henry, hey, got up under him, boom.
Oh, no, he teacupped him.
Okay, I mean, you got to, you know, a lot of the guys back there, you know, you got the defensive backs don't want to tackle anybody. This kid can tackle, he can cover. It's amazing, you know, the talent that they have and all of them. I mean, just outstanding with the youth they got and the way they're coming in, and all of them are contributing. And I don't think they've hit their top yet. See, the defenses, these guys seem to be getting better every time. You know, you can hear it when I go over there to hear them talk. The way they're talking, these guys understand the game, and that's the big thing you got to give him credit for, is that he's teaching these guys the NFL game. You know, it's not exactly the same as college. You know, there's a different game, but the passing game, well, how they're able to put quarterbacks in positions where they take away his first threat, maybe his first read, his second read, they make him hold on to the ball. And really, the pass rush still's got a way to go. It really hurt them with Graham not in there anymore. You know, you got, you know, one of your best pass rushers not in there, but I got to give it to the job that the defensive coaches have done, because these guys are getting smarter and they're improving every week. And I don't think that this team has hit their top, because I think, as I said, the passing game is capable of playing better than they have played. And they're capable of playing better. I mean, they got Pro Bowl level players. They can play better. And I think that at some point they're going to need to, because when you're playing against the best teams in the league, you're going to get times where you're going like, look, we need 30 points. You know, we got to score 30-some points in this game, because, you know, the defense is just not just shutting down the other team.
Gary, how about this one? I made a comparison on Cooper DeJean. And by the way, I'm not asking you who's better, but I'm going to ask you this question between the two rookies.
Yeah.
DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who do you think has made a bigger impact on the defense this year? And I compared Cooper DeJean to like a John Lynch, like a tone setter. You know how important that safety position is. And slot corner is a lot like safety. It's not a lot like corner. You're playing more like a safety position. So, Gary, that's a
difficult question, boy. I tell you.
His energy, his hitting, it's a tone-setting thing. And I know Q, dude, lockdown corners, I get it. But his impact has been enormous on that defense.
That is a tough question. I tell you, you know, well, you hear me talking about DeJean.
Yeah.
Quinyon Mitchell. You know, hey, basically going like, wait a minute. What happened to our receiver over there with Quinyon Mitchell? Meaning you don't even know the guy's playing. He puts the quarterback's not even throwing over there very much at all. So you got him, and you know how important corners are in this. What is a passing league in a lot of ways. But I'll tell you, DeJean, it seems like every week I'm going like, man, where's this kid from?
I know, man.
Hey, The kid, you saw the job he did. Who was that? They're playing against Cincinnati. They're number one.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. Look at the job he did against Jamar Chase. What did he do on that 4th down? Jamar Chase come in there making tackle on him, playing him one-on-one. They got him on Jamar Chase one-on-one. You know. Now, what does that say about him? And at the same time, you see him take on Big Henry and drop him, meaning he's willing to tackle. So you got a kid with skills that, varied. I that's a tough call, man, for me to say which one of these kids is better. The thing that you see, what you got to give Howie credit is he got the 2 best defensive backs in the draft. He got both of them.
Yeah. Gary, if you were going to redraft him, DeJean is probably somewhere there near Kyle Hamilton when he was drafted at 14 or 15.
That's right.
And if you looked at Q, instead of being 22, you have to put him there somewhere near where Patrick Surtain was drafted at 9 or 10.
That's right.
I mean, look at what you did here, man.
You underdrafted. First year, these kids come in and they're playing like they've been in the league 10 years. You're going like, go over to the kid's locker. You're talking to them going like, this kid understands the game. And, they're taking in the game. And the thing is, they listen. Both of them are quiet. You normally, with that kind of talent, a guy be yapping. You can't get him to shut up. But both of these kids are quiet. But they have got, I don't know, like I said, I see the way Cooper DeJean every week he's doing something. You're going like, and he can do that as well.
Gary, it's like they have really an advanced football IQ, these two
That's
guys.
right. Both of them do. And you can see him running the secondary. You can see DeJean running the secondary. When a guy gets in motion, he's the one talking. He's the one that's giving the guys the motion to let them know. And then with all of his physical abilities, in the fact that you could put him on all these different receivers one-on-one, and at the same time, this kid will come up and tackle like a strong safety would do, so that'd be tough for me to make the call on which way I would go, man. Because Mitchell has been playing the whole year like, he's like he's been in the league.
No, he looks like a top 5 lockdown corner out there. Let me throw this at you here with Saquon.
Yeah.
In all your years playing with the Eagles and in the league and covering the Eagles, who do you think has made a bigger impact on a team, Terrell Owens or Barkley?
You got some good ones there. Because, the thing about T.O., man, he came in and played some of the last game of the preseason. And on the first play of the game, you know what they did?
What?
They went up top for about 70 yards, touchdown. The time he came in, they would, this was Donovan McNabb hit him on like a 72-yard touchdown on the first play.
Oh, my God.
So you see the impact he made. And when they started the season, they really went through the season like they were wiping guys out, man.
All the way to the Super Bowl.
On the way to the Super Bowl. So, to say about Owens, and then unfortunately he got hurt, before the Super Bowl. But
Week 14. Week 14.
He played in the game and everything, and he caught over 100 yards worth of passes.
140.
But he wasn't even healthy. So that shows you.
Hey, Gary, he had 14 catches, I think, in that game for 140 yards.
And that's why you're here asking these. You getting some good questions, man. Yeah. So you got T.O. here. Then you got Barkley trying to break the single season rushing record.
2105. You played against them, Eric Dickerson.
And then you got these guys going against each other, man. I tell you, but I probably would give Barkley the nod because I think he's a better teammate. T.O. was about T.O.
Yep.
Now he made the team better because he put pressure on everybody, and and really pressure on the opposing defense and everything. But I like Barkley because he's a better teammate, and you see the guys love Barkley, man. You know, the line, they want to get in there.
Yep.
They want him to break this record. The line does, you know, because those guys, he gives those guys credit, and he's not pushy on anybody. He's not trying to take the ball out of the hands of anybody, and that's why all the guys on the team love the guy, because he's a team player. And I couldn't say that about T.O. Now I know I'm probably gonna run into T.O. What?
Yeah,
team player. Because you're not, man. Because you're not, T.O.
I know, man. He gets
great player though.
Yeah, phenomenal player. But Gary,
great player. And the thing about T.O. is the way he worked, he made everybody else work harder. Yep. You've never seen a guy go in and he's over there in the gym working and lifting and everything, man. He was a hard worker, but I'll give the nod to Barkley because of the team team oriented guy like he is.
Can I be Angelo Cataldi for 1 second? Okay. I'm going to be Angelo for 1 second here. Do you think
you got to take a shot at Angelo? He said they were going to be what? 5 and what?
5 wins. 5 wins. Oh no, he's eating a ton of crow here. But I said 9 wins, by the way. Looks like they can win 15. But I'll ask you this. Do you think that Nick Sirianni went out of his way yesterday to pump up Jalen Hurts for MVP because some of the shine has been taken off the quarterback and has been put on the running back? Because nobody in their right mind would say the quarterback with the 27th best passing game right now in the NFL with 818 yards passing is an MVP candidate. Nobody would do that. And Nick went out of his way to make sure that Jalen got his flowers. Do you see any of that and why Nick would go overboard? Because to me and you, I would say this, Gary, kid, 10, 11 wins. I don't need to throw any flowers at the kid. 10, 11 wins speak for itself. Yeah. Why does the coach going over and above to try to give us a bill of goods that we all know is not true?
Well, you know, when he said it yesterday, just like it went off on you, it went off on me. Like, what? Man, come on, man. Come on. What are you doing? But what he's doing is just stroking the guy. I mean, he's patting him on the head, you know, whatever. That's nonsense. I mean, he's not in the running for that. They know that in the ways they have taken the ball out of his hand something more, because you got a great running back there, and they really changed. And I was saying this early in the year: run the ball, the ball. I mean, the thing about running the ball is it's sure. It's surer than passing the ball. I mean, even if you got a great passing offense, you run the ball on people, you better believe it's going to get better as the game goes on. If you're running the ball on somebody, because they're going to get fatigued, you're wearing them down, you're running the ball on them. So I approve of that. And I think I still tell you that the passing offense is ultimately going to play a part.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's something that, you know, they fall behind somebody and they
how far they go, Gary, that passing game's going to count. It's going to tell you how far they go if they can passes. Yeah.
You're right. But that's a good one, though, because I heard Nick, though, and right away I know, oh, come on, Nick. Nick, cut it out, Nick. Cut it out, man. Cut it out.
I know. I heard him, and I was like, this guy's trying to tell me land in the Everglades. Like, you know, hey, it's really good, sturdy land. You're like, come on, Nick. Where are we going here, man?
But I understand he wants to keep everybody in the right frame of mind, because at a point, though, he is going to go, hey, Jalen, hey, you guys. Hey, AJ, Devontae, you know, Dallas, come on, hey. We got to win this. You guys got to carry us this game, because we got to put some scores on the board, and we got to do it throwing. And they got the capable and the people with the ability to do it. They just got to do it. But
Gary, last two here.
Yeah.
In all of your years, can you remember a player coming off special teams and being a nobody and then playing like Roquan Smith? This Zach Bond, I mean, Gary,
No.
I've never seen anything like. I mean, I watched Roquan. Roquan was great. He had 12 tackles for the Ravens. He was all over the place. You know, he's
Yeah.
kind of and nursing a hamstring on what
Yeah.
the guy in Baltimore are telling me. But
And making what, 18, $20 million?
21 million a year.
And my man is making one.
Hey, and by the way, looking like he is the $21 million guy. I mean,
That's right.
have
That's right.
you ever seen anything like this?
I know. Well, and I've not to this level. I mean, Bourne is, the level of athlete he is. You figure that why wouldn't you guys put this guy on the field more? I mean, I'm sorry, I got to see, because the kid can run. I mean, this kid can really run. I mean, he's, like a linebacker that's running at 4.5, 4.4 speed. I mean,
hey, Gary, and no false steps. I mean,
right.
This guy knows where he's going.
Got a great feel for the game. Great feel for the game. I tell you, they really, hit it right with some of the talent they have back there. But this thing with Bourne, it just makes where was he at? What
New Orleans.
I mean, they had some good people down there, so they had some good talent. But how do you not put this kid on the field?
Mickey Loomis is a hell of a general manager, but think about it. They didn't know what they had with Gardner Johnson, and they didn't know really what they had with Zach Bond. Last 2 years ago, what's his name? Gardner Johnson led the NFL in interceptions, and now you got a guy who's one of the top LBs in all of pro football. I mean, I don't know if you got to give it to dude. Howie's signing Barkley and this guy kind of covered for that Bryce Huff mistake.
That's right. I mean, hey, great offseason, Howie, man. When I see him, Howie, man, dude. How did you know? I mean, what did you see? I mean, but really, I'll tell you, Howie didn't know how good he was even while he was here, because he thought he's going to be a great special teamer for us,
or a perimeter rusher.
Yeah, and Vic said, "Hey, no, I think this kid. I think we got more than that here," and he stuck him in there, and it's been glowing reports ever since. Amazing,
absolutely amazing.
But the sky is the limit for this team. But
are they better than Detroit?
Game, though. What's that?
Are they better than Detroit?
I think they got a higher ceiling. I do think they got a higher ceiling than Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, I do, because like what I was saying is you got, the defense. I mean, I didn't think the defense, offensively, they still got room. They can play better. See, they can play better because that passing game, they can play better. So that they got to get to that mark, though. That's what they got to be chasing. When they get to the playoffs, they got to have everything, and they got to have that passing game where they can go to it when they need to, and you got that gun aimed at them at the defense the whole time, because you got Saquon there, and you add that passing game, and I tell you, they're going to be a tough team to beat with that defense playing the way they are. I think they're right there. I mean, I think Detroit looks at them and they go,
yeah. And Gary, everyone else, now that San Francisco looks like they're out of this whole thing, I mean, Green Bay and Minnesota are really the only other threats. If I'm Detroit and Philly, I go like this. Yeah, well, Sam Darnold is not shaking my boots here. And I don't really see Minnesota, even though they have a really good defensive coordinator in Brian Flores and they can run the ball. But Sam Darnold's not frightening me.
That's right. Correct. Correct.
He's just not. Maybe. And by the way, Green Bay and Detroit play on Thursday night.
Yeah,
so that's going to be an enormous game. And get this, Gary, Detroit still has Buffalo still out there that they got to play. So do you? Hey, last question for you. Do you think? Hey, last question for you. Do you think this team goes 15-2? Well, the only game left really is Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh's the only team that's left.
It's the Steelers. Well, I think it'll either be that or was it 14-3?
Yeah.
I mean that's it. That Steeler game, they play anywhere near their capabilities. In the other games, they beat all those other teams. So the Steelers, the one game that they played where they got a tough game, where they're going to have to play well, but they're capable of beating the Steelers. I think the Eagles really at the level they can get to. I think they got a higher level than everybody. They could, but but it's Jalen and that passing game.
I agreed.
You know,
I completely agree.
Game.
Absolutely. Gary, I appreciate you spending time with us, man. Make sure you catch him on Fox 29 covering the Philadelphia Eagles. Gary, thank you, my friend.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Got it. Gary Cobb, man. Absolutely. I'm with him 100%. I am. I'm with him. Passing game. But hey, you know, got to make little Jalen feel a little better. You know, that's why Nicky Sirianni had to go, hey, my quarterback is an MVP too. Oh, hey, don't forget about my boy over here. But with his little feelings, holy shit. Nick is like, hey, I don't want my quarterback's feelings hurt. Don't forget him. Holy shit. Man, I thought it was like kindergarten class. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for making me feel wanted. Holy shit. What was Nick doing? Hey, everybody, don't forget my quarterback. He's my quarterback. Oh my God, we got to get to these super chats. I never knew Xander's boy, Jalen Hurts, was that sensitive that, you know, he had to have some kudos thrown his way because all the star and all the juice is going to Barkley. And so his feelings are getting hurt in Philly. I'm the quarterback of the team. Let's bring back Xander. We got some supers to get to. Holy shit. Bring Big Z back here. How about your quarterback, man?
Look at Sileo cooking up soup out of nothing. Look at Sileo. I told you. Yeah, you heard Gary say it, that, you know, they got to try and they got to keep everybody on the same page.
I really don't have a problem with it.
No, I know. You're just having fun. It's funny listening to you.
No, listen. Look, you know what you got to do, man?
Sil's the entertainer.
Hey, you got to make everybody fucking loved, man. I mean, everybody wants a piece. Hey, when shit's going good, dude, everyone wants a piece of the pumpkin pie. You know what I mean?
Everybody wants to be loved, Sills, except for your boy Big Z.
And that's why, hey,
whether you love me or hate me.
Hey, and that's why you hear me going, my guy over there, don't forget, he went 4 for 9 for 65 yards. He's a Hall of Fame MVP candidate.
Yeah, are we going 15-2?
Oh, I'm done betting against them.
When I predicted 13-4 on these shows, you and John both, you Homer, you Eagle color, we might go 14-3 or 15-2.
And get this, folks. When they get bumped in the playoffs because their shitty passing game's not going to carry them across the finish line, that 14-3 will mean dick. You might be 3-14.
If that happens, I will give you your credit.
Okay.
I will.
By the way, that's more.
But right now, you got egg boiling on your head.
No, I don't. You know why?
Bubbling. You see it?
It's December 2nd. And right now, the only thing
egg whites are sizzling.
You know, the only thing that Xander's won is admiration.
I don't want admiration. I want to win. This team can win. You're missing the point. You're not seeing the forest through the trees.
Are you crazy, dude? Are you
crazy?
This
team is built to win.
Josh Allen's won 47 ball games in the last 4 years. And you know what he has to do? He's got to fucking win too.
Okay, great. And what does he have to show for it? I'll take the guy that wins. Again, I'm not saying those guys aren't great.
Josh Allen has more wins.
Isn't Joe? But think about this. Isn't Joe Burrow the perfect example of why that's not everything this year? That dude, he would be number 1 in the MVP race if he had a record like the other guys at that list. He'd be number 1.
Well, he's playing the second best quarterback of anybody in the league right now.
I think he's playing the first best.
Okay.
Maybe not over Lamar. Lamar's
no.
But Joe Burrow's not going to get that credit. And look, I think that matters. You got to win. But
he's got 75 completion percentage. He's going to throw for 45 touchdowns.
But my point is, I'll take Jalen Hurts with the 10-2 record consistently every single year than that. I know he's not Joe Burrow. I don't need him to be. Our team's good enough. We're not the Bengals.
That's right. You have to have a stacked team for him.
We're not the shitty fucking Bengals.
You have to have a stacked team for him to win.
That's not, well, maybe. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know why that's so hard for people to swallow.
It's not hard for me to swallow at all.
No, I'm not. I
mean, Jalen needs good
like I
team around.
said,
That's okay though. So does Brock Purdy. So do plenty of other quarterbacks. Actually, every quarterback in the league, with the exception of maybe one, needs that. Think about it. Josh Allen is good as
who's Allen winning with?
well, no, yeah, he's been that guy, but he hasn't gotten there. Is the point? Mahomes is the only one who's gotten there with a team that's not as good. And they've been pretty good.
Well, here's the deal, though, and like you said, it's where you're drafting. If Allen's in the NFC, he's in that thing every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, you're
you're
running into Tiger.
Yeah,
and you're running into Brady.
Who passed on him, by the way? What did he go, 7th overall, Allen?
Who?
Josh Allen.
Something like that. Do you know that the Eagles traded away that pick, number 32, which turned out to be Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I knew that, but John's right. It's hindsight, I mean.
Oh, absolutely, man. Who would you rather have, Kyle Hamilton or Jordan? Oh, by the way, I didn't ask you this before we get to the Supers. How do you think Jordan Davis played?
I think he played all right. I mean, look, I think there's two conversations here with Jordan Davis. And I don't think you're doing a very good job at separating those two conversations.
Oh,
I don't think you're trying to. To be fair, I don't think you're trying to. I think you're trying to conflate it because it fires people up. As a number one
guy next to him played 71 plays. The other guy plays 20. I don't know.
Okay, that's the one part of the conversation. That's not enough. But in those 23 plays, how's he playing?
Good.
Okay. In this 24 defense, we're built to be successful if he's good in his 24 plays. Is he a miss at 13? Yes. Is he playing good in 24 for us to be an effective defense? Also, yes.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
I get a 5th rounder to do that.
Well, you haven't, and you didn't. And we got a 1st rounder to do it.
No, I got Adama Sue and Linville Joseph to do that.
Okay, well, they're not out there this year.
No. I'm just saying, 20. Everyone goes, this guy, Jordan Davis played 71 of 72 fucking plays.
You know this. Not everything.
The other guy played 20, and you want me to go, well, this guy's an elite defensive tackle. And I'm like, that guy is nowhere near it.
Listen, not everything is going to be conventional.
They go 5 yards to carry. I mean, it's not like they stopped the run.
4.3. You're like giving them an extra yard.
No. You said no. The team had 5 yards of carry.
That's because Lamar Jackson had a 40-yard run at the end of the game.
Oh, okay. Well, then they held Barkley to 4.2 rushing in the game, too. He was a 6-yard guy, too.
Okay, so he had over 100 yards in the game-winning touchdown.
I'll get it.
I'll take it.
I'll get it.
I'll take it.
Jordan
Listen,
Davis.
It's not always going to look conventional. I get it. But still, find me a GM that's hit on every first-round pick. Dude, there's none. So we're nitpicking.
No. Nitpicking, not the $22 million.
Well, he didn't make that decision yet. Criticize him when he makes it.
Oh, he ain't making that. He ain't signing that guy to 22. That guy will never see another
You
contract.
might be underestimating how
unless he takes a pay cut, that guy's not getting a 5th-year option.
I don't think it's 22. Where'd you get the 22 number?
I thought I looked it up and it said 2025 that the option is $22 million on a defensive tackle. Now that could have been the cap number. So I thought I read that the
let me see if I can find it.
5th-year option defensive tackle is $22 million. I thought I read
5th-year option projection right now from overthecap.com for Jordan Davis is 11.5. Not saying it's great, but that's a lot better than 22, what you were saying.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, 22 is undoable. You're not paying him $22 million.
Are you paying a guy who plays 20 plays $11 million?
I think depending on where you are at that moment, you make that decision. If the defense is built like it is today and you got enough guys on rookie deals and you're not ready to extend them all, I think you make that move. If you got everybody who's up for an extension, which, if I just try and extrapolate it out, you're going to have Milton to pay. You're going to have Bond to pay. Nakobe Dean's coming up because he's got no 5th-year option. Sweat, you got to pay. He's on a 1-year deal.
Do it, Isaiah.
I think you. I don't want to say you let Isaiah walk, but maybe you get him on a discount deal. There's a lot of guys to pay on defense. You're not wrong. Maybe they don't pay him that $11 million. I'd rather pay Milton Williams. Would you?
Yes. I could do more with Milton. And then I can go back into the draft in the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds and get the guy that I need at a lesser salary.
Right.
Because if listen, You know what Jordan Davis's biggest problem is for me? He doesn't play enough.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all. Now, I think it works right now. Like I said, the defense is the number one overall. So right now, with Jalen Carter playing like he is, with Milton playing like right now, him playing 23 snaps is good. So now I only care about how good are you in those 23 snaps? Are you doing what we need you to do?
Plus, he's in the rookie contract.
Yes. So for this year, I'm satisfied with Jordan Davis. From a macro perspective, looking at the draft pick, looking at the future, looking at some of those things, yeah, I mean, he's not there. He's not going to get the fifth-year option, nor does he deserve it. And, another team will probably sign him, and I don't know what it'll be. I'm not sure.
What about this? I like this. Don't exercise the fifth year. Give him a 2-year deal at $8 million.
That's fine. I'm good with that, Bob. I'm good with that.
Bob, I might do that.
If you're Jordan Davis, do you take that?
Yeah. Because if I go on the open market and I'm a 20 down guy, you're not getting gigantic money, and you might have to take a shitty team, an organization, because the only people that are going to pay you big money, Xander, are bad teams like Carolina.
Right.
Do you want to go to Carolina and make $10 million a year? Or do you want to make $8 million and be on a Super Bowl contender every year?
It's true.
I'm not going to. When you go to Carolina, that's where you go to die.
You know who I think is taking a hometown discount this year?
Bond.
No. Becton.
Why?
Because one, I'm not saying money's everything, and I'm not trying to count another man's pockets. I don't know what he needs in life. But Zach Baum is an undrafted free agent. You don't make a lot of money when you're not. You make good money. Let's be real. They're all making good money. But Mekhi Becton got, what did he get? $15-20 million guaranteed. So I'm just speaking on what that personally, that would be enough for me to take care of my family.
It's $24 million when you're a first round draft choice.
So I'm saying
your contract is totally guaranteed.
They're not going to give him baby peanuts here. They're going to give him 10, 12, $15 million. They might not give him top of the market 23, but they're going to give him 12 to 15 million. I would argue probably in the $15 million range. So he's going to be making great money. He loves Philly. He's expressed it numerous times. He says his love for football is back. He felt like he completely lost it. Feels like he's playing high school again. And he's with Jeff Stoutland. So why are you so sure that you are a bust in one place, you're going to leave and then not be a bust somewhere else? You can stay in Philly. You're going to make great money for your family. The team is a winning organization, and you have the best O-line coach in football. You're going to extend your career potentially by 5 to 7 years by playing with Jeff Stoutland.
This is what Becton signed. He signed a 4-year contract at $18 million with the Jets, including a $10.1 million signing bonus. 18 of that money was completely guaranteed for an average salary of $4.6. In 2004, he earned a base salary of $13.5. That's what he's earning He's earning $13.5 right now with the
Jets.
Eagles.
We gave him $5 million, right?
Okay, they gave him $5 million with a signing bonus,
and I think he's got probably some money that still comes from the Jets.
Some money that's coming to him from the Jets from that guaranteed deal. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Because they cut him prior to the 4 years. Okay, he's still making money off that because all rookie first round deals are guaranteed.
Right.
That was part of the new CBA.
Yeah, so his total money is made. It's $21 million.
By the way, back in the day, guys like Sam Bradford and those guys signed $50-60 million deals. The money was just stupid. And now with free agency and the new collective bargaining agreement, what they did was they lowered that number and they gave all guaranteed contracts to first rounders. And he was a bust in New York, man. So he got about $28 million pretty much fully guaranteed when he was in New York.
Yeah.
That's a ton of money. But
so Becton's gotten $21 million in career money. Bond's gotten $6 million in career money. So it's all a lot of money to me. But you get what I'm saying. Bond is looking for that payday, and he should be looking for that pay. He's looking for generational wealth here. He's trying to take care of his family for the future and generations to come. I don't have a problem with anybody doing that. So I think it's less likely they give him or his agent's going to be, but Becton, I think Becton's, he's going to get paid a lot to be the guard here. He's not going to get paid peanuts, but he's not going to get paid top of the market. So you're looking at that marginal difference. And I think what Stoutland does for him in the back end of his career, I think it's worth it for him. I think Becton will be back.
Xander, here is a little bit on Goddard. Goddard's knees considered week to week and could be a candidate for injured reserve. That's Jeff McClain. The injury isn't believed to be season-ending for Goddard, but a 4-week stint on injured reserve appears to be headed for the option. In doing so, the Eagles would not have Goddard back until week 18 for now. This is Jeff McClain. Goddard should be considered doubtful at best for next Saturday's game against the Panthers. Goddard previously missed 3 games earlier this season with a hamstring injury. In his absence, Grant Calcaterra played 90+% of the plays and snaps. Twice in those 3 contests, Calcaterra will likely slide back into that role. However, Goddard will be sidelined potentially for up to 4 weeks. I'm done with this guy. I'm done with it.
It's hard for me to, And by the way, doesn't it? I don't think Jalen Hurts even likes throwing to him that much. He doesn't get the ball that much. Like I think Calcaterra got the ball more when Goddard was out for those couple of games, for crying out loud. Sometimes
Goddard's so good. It sucks.
I know, but dude, he gets hurt so much. Has he had one season yet? A full?
No.
One full season yet? No.
You know what? When he was sharing it with Hurts, that's when he played he didn't play all the time, but he was splitting time with Zach Ertz. Let's get these super chats, bro. I want to get these things going here.
Flexing and stepping. I swear they better not lose in the playoffs. That's what we're all waiting for, brother.
It's now the test now. It's no longer regular season right now. You're in
like the Chiefs.
You're like
even the Bills. You don't even care what the Bills do in the regular season anymore. You're right.
No,
I mean, that's where the Eagles are.
I don't care. No, I don't care.
How about the Niners drop off, by the way? Holy shit.
If you're Kyle Shanahan, do you want to go somewhere else and have a fresh start?
I think.
Are you going to pay Brock Purdy $55 to $60 million?
Also, can I just rip Kyle Shanahan? I don't think he's done many things right. I think his ego has totally gotten to his head. I mean, you told me about that Steve Wilkes, and I went up and read more about that. That's a veteran defensive coordinator that has been around the league for a long time, is highly respected.
Super Bowl by 3 points.
Who lost the Super Bowl by 3 points to none other than Patrick Mahomes, and they made him. They brutalized him on the way out the door. Completely. And then they thought they were better than everybody. It was a plug and play thing, and they relied on all their old talent this year. I don't think they were innovative at all. I don't think their GM did a very good job. Quite frankly, I think Brandon Ayuk bullied them around the table, and ultimately it came back to bite them. And I think their downfall is pretty easily explainable.
Well,
when you look at Philly, this is where I give Howie credit, because 22 could have happened, and Howie could have went in a different direction. To his credit, he loaded the gun. Now, it took a year. Last year wasn't great, but what's our window? Our window's not over anytime soon, unless Jalen Hurts has a catastrophic drop-off or you lose a player. These guys are 26, 27 years old. Under contract.
Here's the deal with Hurts' window. If Hurts plays the way he is, that's what he is. And if that's good enough to get you to the NFC title game, again, like I said, Hurts doesn't have a ceiling except for getting smarter. Okay. And he will get smarter because he's a smart ball player. I'll tell you this. I think he's smarter than Lamar. I think he sees the game better than Lamar. I think Lamar's just so gifted and so talented that it's off the charts. Right? Dude, I couldn't tell you how many times I went like this. Why are you throwing where 4 guys are? What in the fuck is that? I mean, he did it 5 times.
I know. Yeah.
He gives you a lot of sense.
He gives you a lot of good, but boy, you got to take some bad with it, don't you?
Man, I mean, dude, the bad is off the charts bad.
I know, man. D.O. says Eagles are leading league in sacks and pressure for the last 8-game half season.
Last 8 games? Okay. So they picked it up and they're playing better since the bye.
They have. It's been noticeable in games, hasn't it?
Yeah, I told you yesterday that, and I tweeted it out. No, they're good, man. They're way ahead of schedule, and I think it's got a lot to do with Gene, Q, Bond's play. Josh Sweat's returned to being his years of 2 years ago. By the way, Nolan Smith is not killing you. I thought he was good. N'Kobe's picked his game.
Hey, Sills, Nolan Smith is coming along now. He's got 4.5 sacks. I mean, you're talking about on pace for 7 or 8 sacks. As a second-year player, I'm good with that. I'm good with that improvement on 1 sack a year ago. Now, if he's ultimately the game changer we want him to be, not yet. But I'm good with that improvement.
Do you know what my concern will be? Well, once you up
how long can it go?
Well, once you up his volume, his production come down because, again, remember what happened with Sweat last year? You gave him 987 snaps, and his production went completely down. He's kind of lowered that number now, and you're getting higher production. Look what you did with Huff. You tried to up his game, and it lowered his production.
Huff is not. I think Jalix Hunt is better than Huff.
You think they cut him in the offseason?
I think they might. Yeah. And they're going to try and move him. I think it's going to be hard to do. He's probably going to have a big cap
they eat
hit.
some of that dead cap money.
Yeah, let's look real quick where he's at on that, because I don't think he's going to.
I thought it was a 3-year deal.
I think he's an unnecessary deadweight on the team. Like, I almost think the team is happy he's hurt right now. Not literally. Not literally, but I mean, there's no talk around.
He's a liability on the field in the
huddle. Well, that also, but I listen. You need guys at the edge. They're signing guys off the. I don't think they literally wish he was hurt. What I'm saying is, it was once a talking point. Now it's not something we talk about after the game at all. I mean, it's a nothing burger. They're going to move on from him and let him go. I mean, I don't think they want him here. Let's look up Bryce Huff's contract.
You know what I would do? I would eat 65% of that contract and trade him and try to get a decent draft pick for him.
Yeah, see, he doesn't have a debt out at all until after 2026, where we have an out. We're looking at $29 million of dead cap.
They'll live with that. They'll defer it. They'll defer it over 3 years. You can now, with the new CBA, you can defer it out over a period of time. Years ago, you couldn't do that. So you know what Howie will do? Over the next 5 years, they'll spread out that to come up to $5 million of dead cap. That's now I know why. Now that you said that, now I know why they didn't get rid of Bradbury, because they want that $4 million.
Right.
So they don't want that $4 million on the cap because they're going to use it to dump this guy. You watch. That's why they'd rather pay him than, instead of influencing the salary cap next year when they have to make some significant moves on Becton, Bond, because that's what they're going to do here. You watch, because once they get rid of Bradbury's contract is off that deal.
Yeah, and that's a $15 million dead cap hit this year.
Totally. And that's where you're going to get rid of what's his name right there. Now it's smart and it makes sense. I kept going, why the fuck are they keeping that guy on the roster? They're keeping that guy on the roster because they're going to move off of Bryce Huff. Totally, they're going to eat that money, man.
I'm telling you, man, Howie's good with this money shit, bro.
Dude,
Howie's
makes sense now.
Howie figures out the money, man. He does. Keith Johnson checks in. What's up, Keith? Look at how many recent draft picks are contributing to our success. It is, man. It's
last 3 years have been
the reason for this season. Do you not agree with that? It's the reason for this season.
Yes, because
Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean,
and the free agents, the
Kobe Dean. Yeah, I'm just looking at straight draft picks. We are looking at major success, major contributor. Milton Williams, a 3rd-round pick. Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens. I mean, holy shnikes. Holy shit.
And by the way, Barkley is just making the O-line look even better.
What's that? Yeah.
Barkley's just making the O-line look even better.
You said it earlier. They should never go back to not having an elite running back.
If you should never, dude, yeah. Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, anybody like that from now on should be in the Eagle backfield. You shouldn't have Miles Sanders back there anymore.
Yeah. So Flex, and these were on my Howie take of giving him credit for the defense. He said, "Still not doing it, Xander. Howie going to have to do 2 more times for me to give him props." Boy, Flex, you're a tough customer.
Well, here, Flex. If they run through the tape and they win the NFC Championship with these kids, you're trying to tell me you don't think they're going to be better in 3 years? I disagree with that. I think they're going to be better in 3 years, where you're talking about Cooper DeJean being somebody like John Lynch, and you might have another corner out there that could be in the conversation with a Patrick Surtain if this kid continues to get better. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, and
how good is Jalen Carter, by the way?
Well, you know how high I was on him when he got drafted.
Yeah, well, it's coming true.
Yeah, that's why I'm not surprised.
No, I know you're not, but I mean, you're a former defensive tackle, so I do like to listen to you, because I think, listen, you know how to analyze the entire game of football, but I think when it comes to DTs, you watch them different, I would imagine, than everyone else watches them. You literally did what they do at the highest level possible.
The D-line coach for the Eagles asked me again about Jerome because he hears me talking about it. And he goes, what does he do? The same thing. I said, he's got a tenacity in the middle. He controls the A-gap exceptionally well. And you know what he does with leverage? he plays under his pads and his extension. What I mean by that is he gets his hands out, he slaps away, he gets inside, and his burst up the field is so fucking good. That tackle he made for
the loss.
The loss.
Yeah.
He was that is so Jerome-ish that he moves like he is a defensive end. And for a guy 6'4", 318 pounds in there, he has got that old school country strength.
Yes.
Where I don't know if he's a bench press guy. He says he works out a lot. But he's just a country. You know what? He's got a big ass. And when you got them big ass defensive tackles, and I mean a big ass, you got a lot of power in that. And he shows it, man, with his leverage. He's a good
that's been the most impressive thing. I knew he was quick. I knew he had good pass rush moves. I watched Jimmy. Everybody should go check this out on if you're on Twitter. By the way, give me a follow on Twitter at Real Xander, RealZander. Jimmy Kempski put up a thread today, Sills. You would love it. And he charted about 20 or 24 quick snapshots, 7 to 10 seconds each, of Jalen Carter's plays last night. This guy, he had that Falele guy on him who's 6'7", one of the biggest guys in the league. He had, I kid you not, one arm on this guy. And once he's done with him, he just goes, whoop, and throws him right to one arm. Throws this guy to the ground like he's a rag doll. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Jalen Carter is a monster. He's been unbelievable.
Let me tell you what Clint Hurts says. They're lining them up in that 3 technique. And what they're doing is they're winding them wide. They're turning them. They're lining them head up. They're moving him around. And it's confusing blocking scheme issues inside there. That's why I'd like to see Jordan play a little more, man, because that'll take some of the fucking shit off him. And that would help him be an even better ball player in there. Because, I mean, playing 20 plays and you're playing 71. And I love what Carter did. Carter's pumping him up. He's giving him love. He's saying that was really nice. He wasn't awful. And I agree with that. I thought he made I saw some plays in there where he's still playing a little high. However, he's got to help Carter out more than just 20 plays a game.
I agree.
It's got to at least be 40.
It'll make Carter better. I think what you're saying is a good point.
Carter will be unblockable.
I know.
Okay,
he's already unblockable.
You need him more play. Dude, the Ajomo guy and Milton going in there, those guys are really good ball players. But you need somebody in there that's going to be able to take up space and draw the double teams. Carter, you could have called holding on Jalen Carter every fucking play last night.
Dude, these NFL referees, they really got little man syndrome, don't they?
Yeah. Well, it's new guy syndrome. It's new guy.
I think it's little man syndrome.
It's not.
Think about it. This team came into this game, the Ravens. They led the NFL in offensive holding penalties.
Huh.
They held Jalen Carter
every play.
On every single play. And it's one thing if you don't get every call. I know you're not going to get every call. I get that. I'm not trying to. He didn't get one call.
That's insane.
Like when I'm looking at that, I'm like, all right, now like I said before, I try not to criticize the officials. Both teams deal with it. I get it. But when you have a player that's generational talent like that, the point is that he's a game wrecker. He makes it that much easier for your defense. When you don't call it once, you create a new tactic for the offensive line to block the player. You know, they're reaching across. They're holding his arms down. They're doing everything they can. Rightfully so. The guy's blowing by him. You got to call it at least once.
I should get on Aaron Donald. And I should get him on to talk about him because
if you could get Aaron Donald on, that would be insane.
Oh, we know him through Dave. Dave recruited him.
Right.
Okay. And here's the thing with Donald. Donald's 6 feet tall. He's 280 pounds. Okay. What made him so great? He's a 550 bencher, had great hands and great feet, played with leverage. You know why he played with leverage? When you play against a guy like Micaiah Becton, you're 6 feet, you're under leveraged no matter what. You play leveraged.
Right.
Okay? When you're 6'5", you've got to control that and keep yourself down. That's why defensive tackles usually are 6'2", 6'3". You don't want them really big.
What's Carter? Like 6'3"?
He's like 6'4". I thought he was 6'3 and a half, 6'4".
Yeah,
Jalen Carter.
Big. He plays low for that size.
I think this is what hurts Jordan Davis a little bit. is the fact that he's 6'6",
Yeah, I agree.
that he plays high.
Well, it
Gets up.
says Carter's listed at 6'3". Davis is listed at 6'6". I think that's it. I think
Okay,
that's
well,
it.
if Jalen Carter's listed at 6'3", he's probably 6'2.5".
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
helps him because
Yeah,
that's how he plays. When you watch him, he's under.
Jerome was
Like you
6'2.5".
just explained. Yeah,
Jerome was 6'2.5".
yeah.
Okay.
and boy,
And
Davis is a big boy.
Yeah, when you're 6'6" like that, if you stand up a little, you're going to get blocked. When you're smaller, that's why those guys inside were always shorter dudes. You never wanted real tall interior. Dude, Hollis Thomas, he's 6 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Corey Simon, he's 6 feet. Those guys were all smaller dudes that played inside for Philly during their heyday. I mean, Jerome was shorter. Keith Wilkes was shorter. You had all them guys that were short inside, and you had your ends that were really tall. And get this, look up Dexter Carter or Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is probably 6'2", 6'3". And that's probably the height.
He's listed at 6'4", which might mean he's probably around 6'3".
6'3", 6'3.5", probably. That's pretty big for a nose tackle. But
yeah, and for as good as he
he's
is,
380 pounds.
yeah, he's big. He's a big boy.
I would say right now those two guys are the two best interior tackles in pro football. Would be Dexter. Dude, you're in a conversation with Dexter Lawrence. I mean,
Chris
Dexter
Jones
Lawrence.
has still got to be up there too.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You know what I mean? He's probably the best
Yeah.
of them all when it comes to that. Yeah.
Now, did Dexter Lawrence get an injury?
Yes, he's out. Like,
Is he out for the year?
He may. They may.
Okay, so he was placed on IR. I wonder if Jalen Carter.
They may not bring him back. Why would
Jalen Carter might get all pro?
Yeah, why? But he'll still get it because remember the year that Aaron Donald got all pros last year? He played 12 games.
So maybe. I don't know. Do you
And
think
you know who he beat out?
The Giants hurt you?
Remember who he beat out? He beat out Javon Hargrave, who had 11 sacks that year,
Okay.
and he only had 8.
How many do they take for all pro? Just one from each conference?
No, they take 2 teams, first and second team. Okay.
Okay.
They name a first and second.
So there's only one first team defensive tackle.
Well, there's 2. They're going to have 2 tackles. They're going to have 2 tackles, a nose, and 2 ends.
Okay, so
Those
all right,
ends are going to be edge rushers, also like Crosby's. And
you think Carter will be first team?
Yes, I do. And if he's first team, here's who I think you're going to give first team All Pro. Lane's going to make first team All Pro. Barkley's going to be first team All Pro. It's going to be Henry and him. Okay, so it'll be those 2 guys will be first team, and then over on the offensive side, AJ's missed too many games. He's not going to. Nobody in that skill set side except for the running back is going to make first team. On defense, you're going to get. I don't think you have any All Pros over there, but I do think you have Carter. But I don't think you have. I think you have a ton of Pro Bowlers. Like Quignon's probably making it.
You think Bond? I think you're right about Bond.
Bond's going to make. Bond might make second or third team.
You don't think he's got all pro, do you? Or no, second or third team?
Maybe.
I think him doing it on prime time has helped his case. You know, because
It
he
is,
was fighting the uphill battle of nobody knew who the hell he was.
I'll tell you how it works. Hey, this is Roquan Smith talking to Fred Warner. I'll vote for you. You vote for me. And then what those guys all do is they all do that.
Works? That's fucked.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, so Zach Bond's got no friends.
Hey, get this. Like so I'm walking off the field, and Bob Golick comes up to me. He goes, "Don't forget to vote for me for those guys." And I said, "I already voted for Michael Carter." He laughed. He goes, "Not even second team?" I go, "No, I got you on second team." So we all got ballots to vote, and that's how it goes.
Should be all pro. That kind of sucks. Bond, I think he should be.
Nobody knows who he is.
I know you're not wrong.
No, but they will next year.
Mikey shreds. Look at this dude with the glasses on and the guitar, looking pretty savage, isn't he?
Yeah,
a Canadian $2. Fangio will persuade Howie to sign Bond. Thanks, Mikey. Mikey shreds. I like it.
I don't know. I think Micaiah Becton is the target.
They're getting them both, and they're getting Milton too. And they're going to let Jordan Davis walk. They're going to get Milton.
Ryan asked the question, "Seals, you getting any Pro Bowls or all pros?" No, I was just voted on it. I was on a couple ballots.
Yo, What do you think? What do you think they're going to end up paying Jalen Carter? Remember when last time they had a franchise defensive tackle, Fletcher Cox got a 6-year deal.
Okay, well, let's take a look at this. Here,
I think they're giving him like 6-7 years, nearly $200 million.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know.
Bro, Fletcher Cox got 6 years.
Well, this is what Chris
$102
Jones
million.
just signed for in 2000. It's good through 2028. Chris Jones signed a 5-year contract at $160 million.
Yeah, I'm not far off.
Oh, I thought you said $200 million.
I said 6 years, though. 6 or 7 years. Jones signed what? 5 years, 160?
5 years, 160 with $95 million guaranteed.
That's a good DT contract right there.
Would I take that? Would I do that for him? Yeah, I would do it for him.
Yeah, I would. Carter's getting whatever he wants. That's not one of those ones that you, can we get
him? Vaughn $7.5 million a year.
Vaughn's not taking that deal.
Okay. Good luck in fucking Carolina.
Okay, and he's going to say, all right, good luck with your good luck with your trash cans on the bench.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're 44-19 or whatever that thing is with Nick.
Yeah, but why do you so you want Howie to make the same mistake? You want to let him why? So you have some Sileo content next season? So we have trash can linebackers?
No, I'm going the way Howie works.
Now Sileo wants us to make the same mistake and get rid of Vaughn.
Well, he will.
Yes, Jesse G. That's right on the number. 6 years, 190 for Carter.
Vaughn is out.
I'm awake. Don't get him started, please.
Vaughn is out.
I'm awake. Do me a favor. Don't get him started.
Vaughn
Hurts needs a class in reading defense, Otto Sky says. What a stupid comment. Maybe you need a class in how to watch football.
Hey, my friend, Guy, you're not wrong, man. Hey,
no,
make sure you get this.
Stupid comment.
Hey, make sure you get this. Let's run that high school. What's that, St. Prep thing? What's the name of your school?
St. Joe's Prep, maybe.
Hey, run that St. Joe's Prep offense.
This is a stupid
can run that.
Man. You're fantasy guys. Do you play fantasy football?
I was running high school offenses last night.
You play fantasy football or something?
Hell no.
You're a fan. You go to the bars with dudes and pick your fantasy
team? You think I sit around with 7 dudes talking about?
I think you do. I think that's why you say that, because maybe you're a little self-conscious.
I hang out with 5 nobodies.
It seems like you're a little self-conscious about it. So
that's right. I'm self-conscious. That's something I am.
Silio's sitting at the bar with his 6 boys from California. Hey man, who you picking? Who you picking?
Right. That's what. 6 guys from California. Oh, you got the first 2.
3 of them got rainbow hair.
Yeah.
One of them's dressed like a cowgirl.
Yeah.
Brian Pumper says bar is set so low that we just want the $50 million quarterback to avoid turnovers. I'm not fazed by his performance. Gold stars for the rest of the team.
Hey, Brian, he's a mailman. Hey, deliver the mail. Get out of the way. Rain or shine. Show up. Don't do anything stupid. There you go. Run RPOs. Don't worry about throwing the ball 30 times. You kidding me? We'd never let you throw the ball 20 times.
Man,
hey, get this. Hey, Brian, the Eagle offensive coordinator has a cow if they throw the ball 25 times in an NFL game. How you doing?
So we're going to be, here's another picture for everybody. We're going to be parading down Broad Street, right? There's Sileo and Pumper will be in the corner. They're like protesters with the signs. We protest the Eagles Super Bowl.
Hey, Brian, guess what you're going to get with the Super Bowl performance by Hurts? It's going to be this: 8 of 9 for 73 yards and a Super Bowl victory.
And you'll be protesting it.
Barkley will have 250 yards rushing, be like the all-time greatest.
Man, give me the fucking win. Give me the win. NJ says, Hurts played fine. Didn't need to throw for 340 and lose like a lot of other quarterbacks. Made plays when he needed, but missed a few. He'll be fine, Silzaroni.
Oh, man.
Well said, NJ.
Hey, Maniac, why are you fucking paying these people at the skilled set 15 million tight end, 25 wide receiver, 35 wide receiver to be a running team and say this to your quarterback? Run an RPO, throw the ball 11 times, get out of the way. Sounds like a high-powered 27th ranked offensive passing attack.
This guy will never be satisfied.
Wait a minute,
I'm telling you all watching. Big
28,
Sills will
29,
never be
43.
satisfied.
Do you know there's only 5 teams worse in the passing game than the Eagles?
All right, ready? We
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl. It's the week after. This is Sill's first topic. Is Jalen Hurts good enough to make this a dynasty, or will he fail to meet expectations?
I'm going to write that down. Let me see.
Sileo will be using that.
Well, wait a minute. Let me guess what you want. You're one of those guys who only likes one championship, and you don't want to have a dynasty. And the only dynasty in the history of the Philadelphia sports community has been 2 by the Flyers. Eventually, Xander, somebody's got to have a dynasty in Philly, don't you think?
I guess you're right.
Right?
I think it might be Jalen Hurts.
If it ain't, you got problems. Because it ain't going to be that guy Embiid. That's for damn sure.
Fuck that guy. Don't make me. I haven't thought about him yet. I haven't turned on the 76ers, and my mental health and my life is beautiful because of it. Okay? So keep that guy out of the conversation and keep the Sixers off my TV set. All right?
He is a stiff, man. He is just not.
Lord's Grace says, this is another Sileo-ized. Lord's Grace, I like it. I like your name. So what's the point of having A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith if all they do is block? So expect bare minimum for Jalen Hurts for the next couple of years. Lord's Grace, are you going to cry about Jalen Hurts if we keep winning?
Hey, Lord's Grace. Jalen Hurts just has to be Tyrod Taylor, hand the ball off, deliver the mail, go home, and don't worry about it. Don't turn the ball over. Hey, you know what they're basically saying? Don't fuck it up. Oh, and here's a better one. My guy over there deserves love, and make sure he doesn't cry, because that's my quarterback.
I need to go.
You do need, hey, fuck, man. Head coach has got to babysit the quarterback into making sure his feelings are good.
Get me off this show, please. Somebody. Wishbones. We got a couple more. Wishbone can't compare Hurts to Aikman, but Barkley to Adrian Peterson, okay?
I mean, let him do it for 4 more years. He'll get to the Hall of Fame. He needs 4 years.
He needs 4.
His career was wasted in New York.
That really was. Harv says, this is an issue of efficiency. Both teams were physical. Both teams had theirs on offense. The Eagles were more efficient and made touchdowns. Correct.
That's the game right there.
Ravens could not score when they got in there.
That's right. Harv. And their defense your defense and special teams was the key.
Philly Don, this D reminds me of the Jimmy Johnson and Bud Carson Ds.
Yeah. Yeah. Speed, attitude, getting to the ball. Yeah. Looks like it.
Look at Sills leaning up on his hands. I love it. People don't know that you used to stand doing the show for 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm an old man now.
Do you miss that?
I got arthritis in the hips now. It's easier to kick the shit out of people sitting down now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, especially you.
I think since
especially
you've moved,
kicking the shit out of you, it's way easier.
I actually think since you've moved, I've been on an unprecedented winning streak, similar to the Eagles. I just keep coming on and kicking the shit out of Sills.
Yeah, get this. And here he is on May 2nd.
Big Z naysayers are down bad right now, just like the Eagles naysayers are.
Naysayers?
Big Z trolls are down bad.
You got them as the best team in football.
Yep.
Okay.
Like I did 2 weeks ago.
Look at him just setting that Zeppelin so high in the sky right now. They're the best team in football. They got the best roster in football. They're going to go 15-2. You better win it, Junior. You better win it, honey. Because if a 10-16 knocks you out or 10-17 knocks you out,
the Big Z detractors are down bad right now, baby.
No. Hey. The field versus the Eagles with the 27th passing game? All right. Let's take a look at it.
Listen to the detractors.
I'm done with this. So
He's screaming louder and louder until we listen. Trill says, AJ, 66 yards first half, 0 second half. He's always open. Yeah, pass him the ball. I don't know what the hell's the issue. These guys are literally always open. Shawnsky said, can someone check on Niner all day? He's been missing. He was in here today. Shawnsky, he was actually being very funny this morning, as he always is. Sig Lord, no Eagles player is making it to the Pro Bowl. Oh, come on, Sig Lord. What a stupid take. You got 5 offensive linemen who are going.
Wait. Sweat will make it.
Actually, you're right. I know what Sig Lord is saying.
What?
None of them are going to the Pro Bowl because we're playing in the Super Bowl the next week, motherfucker. Is that what you were going for, Sig Lord?
No, wow, look at this. Holy cow, man. Hey, James Jones, ready? 14-3.
Oh, good. James Jones is back out of his hiding because his team
Wait a
finally got a win.
Great win, by the way, James. The 25-9. Now they're going to be 15-2.
Yes,
11.
Sig Lord. Sig Lord says they're all going to the Super Bowl.
Get this. Hey, James Jones. So if they go 15-2, that'll be 40-11 over 4 years. Sure hope you win a Super Bowl.
This motherfucker. Brian says, Jordan Davis has too much of a nice, polite, and goofy attitude. If he played with Jalen Carter's mentality, he would be a wrecking ball. I kind of agree with that.
That's a criticism.
You can't be fluffy. I mean, dude, you're a defensive tackle. You got to be mean.
There's only 2 men I've ever seen that were weird. Reggie White and Leroy Solomon. They were weird to a point where they were so nice. And you went like this. That guy can't be that guy.
I know,
because
right?
they're so insane on the
Was
field.
Jerome nice? He seemed like he was nice.
He was not. Well, Jerome had a shitty side to him, but not to people. But if Jerome got if you did this,
right. But you need that. Don't you need
wait,
that?
wait, if you blocked him once, worst mistake you could ever make is talk shit to him. Honest to God, watch this. I'm standing next to him. We're playing OU at OU. This guy has 20 tackles. He has an interception, 2 sacks. He broke Aikman's leg. He blocked the punt. He blocked the field goal. I sat there when we got back to the locker room. He looked over at me. He starts laughing. He goes, "What's wrong?" I go, "You're fucking so stupid. That's the greatest game I've ever seen." And the guy was talking shit to him first, and I just shook my head. I went, "Don't go there with this guy." He went like this, dark, in 2 seconds, and annihilated OU. They hadn't lost a home game in 50 years.
I love a mean motherfucker. Don't you love me? I love a mean motherfucker. I don't like nice guys are overrated. Hey, I like a mean motherfucker.
He ate that team up. Yeah, I just sat there. It was the greatest performance I've ever seen a football player have.
All right, I gotta go. Okay.
Yeah, go. Great stuff, Xander. Great stuff.
Great show. Yo, 8 straight, 10-2, Super Bowl, best defense in the NFL, best offensive line in football, elite player at quarterback. Okay. It's all coming together, everybody.
Elite.
Enjoy the moment. It's a special season.
James Jones, elite, 6-9, 42 passing yards. There you go. That's good.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Don't forget to catch my boy tomorrow morning with our good friend John McMullen on Birds 365. All right, we'll reset on what went on yesterday. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. By the way, we are 6 likes away, I believe, from 500. And we broke the record of 147 today in the first 15 minutes. I think we hit 185. Is that what it was? Guys killed it. Really great today. We can't thank you enough. All the super chats, too. You guys have been absolutely great. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. By the way, look at this guy here. He must have missed it. Canes got exposed? Yeah. They don't deserve to be in the playoff. Okay? Always remember something, Professor. That has nothing to do with my legacy. I've got my national championship rings. I was the number 1 defense in the country. That's not anything to do with me. You want to be a champion? You got to play like a champion. And you got to play like a champion on defense. My stuff is solidified. We did it. Okay? So at the end of the day here, I mean, I believe with Smitty back, we'll open up the passing game. We need to start getting into rhythm in the passing game. You haven't been in rhythm in a passing game in 2 years. Okay? You haven't. Thank you, Jalen. Over 500. I appreciate it. Thank you. Xander has been correct all season. Young buck over old head. What's he right about? The quarterback throwing for 4,700 yards and 40 touchdowns? I forgot that one. Yeah. Oh, he was right about that one? Oh, okay. Be lucky if that guy throws for 3,500 yards. Holy shit. By the way, here it is. Jalen Hurts right now is trending for 35, 33, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks, 101, 8, 68 quarterback rating or completion percentage. Okay, here's AJ. Missed a lot of time. 18 yards a catch, that's what the number is. 62, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. You paid $35 million for that? All right. Here's Devontae. This is a better one. 58 receptions, 731, and 6 touchdowns. Barkley, 21-24, 16 TDs, 6-1 a carry. By the way, just to go and have a little fun here at Jalen Hurts' expense. So Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Geno Smith are all having better seasons than Hurts. Hurts is on a good team. Good. It's great for Jalen. Absolutely outstanding. But every one of those guys is having better seasons because they're asked to do more. Here the guys having better seasons. C.J. Stroud, Cousins, Stafford, Mahomes, Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, even shitty Aaron Rodgers. who's a complete bust in New York. Justin Herbert. Bo Nix is having a better season than Jalen Hurts. Mailman. The mailman. Jalen the mailman. Come on, Wishbone. All right. And one thing about Aaron Rodgers. It's time for that dude to call it a career. It's over. Let's go, dude. It's absolutely over. Okay. I mean, it's over for him. He's just not playing good football. Just you said it, because they're just asked to do more. We're not asking Jalen to do more. Okay. You pay $51 million for a guy who's like a doorman at a strip club. All right. No problem. Stats are for losers, wins and losses only. Okay. Wins and losses that matter, like NFC championships and Super Bowls, you mean? Regular season calories don't fill the bill, does it? Or does it? Hey, fat fuck. Does it? Are you trying to tell me that season wins versus important? Is that what we're saying here? Fat Mac, Philly, my bad. Fat Mac. Not fat fuck, Fat Mac. I'm sorry, dog. Fat Mac. Sorry, dude. Didn't want to go there, man. Fat Mac. Hey, by the way, that hit on Trevor Lawrence. Oh, man, that was wrong. I saw the kid apologized. The kid apologized for hitting Lawrence like that. Hey, man, sometimes you get the gladiator in a guy. Leave us, mailman, alone. I'm working in the cold and underpaid. Come on, Roland. Hey, Roland, I'll take you over Hurts any day. Okay? I'll take you over Hurts any day. Is the running game defense enough to win a Super Bowl? You're going to find out. We going to find out. I don't think it is. He's not turning over the ball. Get this. So you're asking him to do something by not turning over the ball. We're winning. He can be better. Would like to see him go through his progressions more. That ain't happening. He's not good enough to do that. And no one's saying this. See, look at this dummy. Nobody's saying put Kenny Pickett in. Kenny Pickett sucks. Who said say that? Who said that? Sills, is this week the real test? I told you before, I didn't even need you to win the Ravens game to know you were good. Real test? No. Now it's win out. Don't get hurt. Don't sustain any injuries. That's what it is now. The real test is your roster now. You understand that? The real test is the roster. Is it going to be deep enough by the end of the year? So get this. Yale, if you're in here, so you got Slay banged up. You have Goddard now banged up for another 4 weeks. Who else you got banged up in there? BG's gone. Right? Blankenship's got a concussion. So right now, Slay the starter, Goddard the starter, Brandon Graham out, and Reed Blankenship has got a concussion. But staying healthy now. The number one thing right now. It's not about the Steelers. It's not about Carolina. It's not about any of these other teams. Okay? Hey, is there Washington coming up too still? There's still a Washington game, right? Am I right? Hey, James, there's still a Washington game to come up. So you got the Steelers and Washington, right? Okay. Cap should go up more this year than last year. Sunday ticket scheduled at least 13% increase revenues. Increased by 17 million in 23 and 31 in 24. The reason that it increased, Jalen, that much in 24 was because it made up for COVID a little bit. Add 35 million to Howie's purse and cheating. I think it's going to go up 18%. And I think last year the number was 242 or I can't remember. 242. So whatever you want to add 18% to that, that's what it's going to probably go up. It goes up around 18%, between 14 and 18% every year. Okay. Anthony goes, should you be scared of, this is what Anthony, once again, being not understanding. Well, if you lose Darius Slay, Dallas Goedert, Brandon Graham, Reed Blankenship, and you sustain more injuries for Washington, yeah, you should be. You don't know who's going to be healthy. Like I just said, this is all going to be about health going down the stretch here. Did you not hear me, Anthony? Or are you still with your head up your ass, which is probably normal, right? Look at this guy comparing Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts' numbers are almost identical. The only difference is, Chris, there's no Saquon Barkley in Josh Allen's backfield. There's no Dallas Goedert. There's no A.J. Brown. And there's no Devontae Smith. And he doesn't have the old line Jalen does. That guy's by himself. He carries his football team. Okay? Completely on his back. He had 4 touchdowns last night in the snow. Okay? There's a difference, guy. Your guy's a caboose. Allen is a freight train and an engine. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, wait a minute. Once again, hey, Ryan, Pat, name me one player in Buffalo that could start in Philadelphia. Mari Cooper couldn't. He's the number one. He's not starting over AJ. You don't have any guy in the O-line that would start over any of the guys in Philly. Mari Cooper would not start. He's not a number 3. He's a 1. Okay? So you're taking their 1 and making him a 3? No, that's not how it works. The number 1 target in Buffalo is Amari Cooper. The number 1 target in Philly is A.J. Brown. Name me one guy who could start per position from Buffalo in Philly. There's not one of the 11 guys. That's not what I'm blaming. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying you one guy does it with nothing, and the other guy has everything, and good for him. You don't have to do anything. That's why Josh Allen's not asked to, or Josh Allen has to do everything and carry his team. Hurts is not asked to do anything except not fuck the team up. My guy. My guy. Yeah, Josh Allen, right. That's the only guy that can start in Philly is the quarterback. My guy. Get this. That's right. Doug is not better than Mulata. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My guy over there, he's an MVP candidate. Remember, the guy throws 11 passes. He's my guy. Makes sure he feels good about himself. Oh, man. What an unbelievable. Hey, one more time. Congratulations. Wait a minute. Maybe if they didn't overpay Allen, why? What are you talking about? Without Josh Allen, they're not the team that beats Kansas City at 9-2 or 10-2 right now. Without Josh Allen, they're not 10-2. Without Saquon Barkley, you ain't 10-2. Without Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen, that ain't gonna cut it. Not with that prolific passing game. Got that 15 turnovers. Kincaid's solid. Yeah, he is solid. He's a solid player. You got so worked up when I said Amari. That's because you make a dumbass comment. Well, let's take his 1 and we'll make him a 3 on our. Oh, good go. That's not how it works, Junior. Okay. So Saquon is the MVP. I'm not voting for him. I'm voting for Allen right now. As a matter of fact, here is my MVPs. I usually do it on Tuesday. Josh Allen, Barkley, Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar. There's to be my top 5. Josh Allen 1, Barkley 2, Burrow 3, Mahomes 4, and Lamar 5. That's how I'll turn my vote in tomorrow. Yep. How you doing? Let's see here. Let's see what the Vegas guys have right now for MVPs. Let's see here. I'll look on our website. I have to type something in here. Okay, here. I have to go into this. Here it is. Here's what is trending right now. Josh Allen's number 1. Saquon Barkley's number 2. Lamar Jackson's number 3. Jared Goff is 4. Mahomes is 5. Jaden Daniels is 6. Justin Herbert is 7. Jordan Love is 8. Jalen Hurts is 9. And Sam Darnold is 10. There you go. Josh will lose first round playoffs like always to Patrick Mahomes, and you'll lose the first round to Baker Mayfield like usual. Hey, Allen loses to Mahomes, you lose to Baker. How you doing? Yeah, Joe Burrow right now, his season. Joe Burrow's having a historic season. Yeah. 74% completion percentage, 4,800 passing yards, 45 touchdowns and 7 picks, 632 in attempts and 450 completions. Yeah, absolutely. Spectacular. Can you imagine Joe Burrow and Philly on that team? Holy cow, you guys would score 60 points. You guys would score 60 points a game instead of that guy who runs the wishbone or runs that Fairfield Prep High School team offense in Philly. Seals, you think the Eagles should look at their next offensive coordinator next season for Jalen Hurts' play style? I don't think Kellen Moore's going to get an opportunity to be a head coach. You know why? He hasn't improved the number one thing he was brought in for. How can a guy get and become a head coaching candidate when he had the number one offense in pro football and passing in and rushing, mostly passing in Dallas twice? He comes to Philadelphia and he fixes a run game that's already good. Dude, Kellen Moore didn't improve the running game. Howie Roseman did. He improved the run game. You're making it sound like Barkley, hey, run right. Way to go. What a play. What a play design. Hey, all I need to know is about the first 25 plays that they script out. Those are well done. Like I said, that's a loser. Fat fuck says, that, like I said, that's a loser. I still have concerns with the passing game. Yeah, well, you're 27th. You should. You should. Hey, but let's do this. All kidding aside, it's a great win. You should be throttled. They're 10-2 now. You guys should be getting the victory parades ready over at Broad Street. You should get the outfits ready. If I were you, I'd start as Xander. Since he's been buying so many Barkley jerseys, Xander should be in charge of the parade, gear that you guys are going to wear and shirts. We should start printing out Super Bowl champions right now. As Xander this, next time you talk to him tomorrow, hey, Xander, are you so confident that you'll print out 100 shirts that say Eagles Super Bowl champs? Ask him that. Ask him that. If he's that confident that he would print out those shirts like that. Huh? Right? I don't like that we switch OC every year because of the incompetent head coach. You're going to be well, I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching opportunity. I really don't. Okay? Sills, should we cut the script in half and get to the unscripted stuff faster? Pat, they're wanting to be a passing team so bad that first quarter is spiteful to the fans. It's spiteful. Am I wrong, Xander? It's spiteful. They are doing everything they can to try to do it one last time. You know what the only difference is from 23 to 24? They're not going 4 quarters with it because Barkley's changed the narrative. You're not going to not go to him if the passing game is going to be 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, pass the ball 3 and out. Then you start handing it to him because you have to succumb to the fact that you can't throw the ball. That's the difference. That's the difference. You're not staying 4 quarters with it this year. You're doing 1 quarter. And it sucks. Doesn't it show you something here? When you ask Jalen Hurts to throw the ball in the first quarter, it's a train wreck. When you ask Saquon Barkley to carry the ball for 3 quarters, it's 8 straight wins. That's a fact. It's a fact. The first quarter, you're the worst first quarter team in the league. Why? Because Hurts is my guy. He's an MVP candidate. Yeah, okay, sure. Hey, guys have been fantastic today. I'm still working on Brian Westbrook. So we're hopefully going to catch up with him. We're supposed to catch up with him today. Hopefully we catch up with him tomorrow. Yeah, I hope they dump that first 25 play drive script. That thing is just absolutely terrible. You guys were great. I appreciate everybody. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button on the way out. Thank you guys again. Big Joe, Xander, thank you very much, especially today. Thank you guys. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.